everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hasan Piker, and this is the HasanAbi broadcast coming to you live from Paris, France. Oui, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still in Paris, France. I am live. I'm alive. And I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today is a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is 5/10/2025. That's right. It's Saturday, May 10th, 2025. And I am still in Paris. Oui. Bonjour. And I'm live. I'm alive. Oui, baguette. You already know. I got to get all of this out of the way really quickly because I got to get all this out of the way really quickly because I have the leader of the France unbowed party, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, coming on the broadcast, and I cannot. La France Insoumise. I can't be doing French accents in front of him, except I probably will end up doing it. I'm a little nervous. All right. All right, folks, this is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news about what's going on in the world of HasanAbi, Piker, in between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press this start streaming button. So help me God, I'm going to do that. Hello. Home. Camera focus. Is it not focusing on me? What's happening? Bonsoir for evening. Okay, cool. All right, personal news wise, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do this quick. We're just going to rapid fire through this process because Jean-Luc Mélenchon and his team is going to be here soon. Insane aura, insane pull, insane get. You already know what it is. The man, the myth, the legend is here in the building in a little bit. And I'm actually a little nervous, but I'll tell you in a second about what's going on. Personal news wise, I ended the broadcast last night. It was 1 a.m. my time. It was 1 a.m. my time when I ended the broadcast, and it was, I didn't really sleep that much. I went to bed. I woke up again at like 5 and got my regular ass breakfast that was supposed to be petit déjeuner, but it's not déjeuner at all. I had a fat ass breakfast, couldn't go back to sleep because my mom was adamant about taking us to go shopping in flea markets all around Paris. Saw a couple of HasanAbi heads out there. While I was in the process of purchasing stuff. And that's it. That's all I did. Bro missed Jason's birthday. Hate to see it. Yeah, bro missed Jason's birthday. Bro missed nephew become a man. Become a going from a sweet boy to a man. And the reason why bro missed him is because bro is in France. Okay, so anyway, hold on, folks. We're not done. Personal news wise, what else took place? How are the baguettes? Incredible. The food has been incredible. I hung out with Lucas earlier today. That was great. Hung out with Squeezy a little bit. Saw the boys, you know. We had lunch in Le Palace Garden. It was very nice. A very nice oui. Super excited about that as well. Some cool stuff coming out. I will be in France again. But that's for a different day. Bro, you are dehydrated? I am dehydrated, I guess. I don't know. What is this? Why are people telling Jason he's not me? What is this?
You're not Hasan, buddy. Oh my fucking god. Hold on. Yo, let me know. Hold on. What? Hold on. The vision really didn't. The vision.
He looks great. Okay, so Levi. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Okay, F-U HasanAbi. Sound. La F-U HasanAbi. Okay. The amount of French first-time chatters is hilarious. I know. Jean-Luc Mélenchon has motion. It's crazy. Le vieux means the old. Wait, what? I'm not saying that to him. I'm not going to be disrespectful to my goat. Okay, he's going to be in here aura farming. I need to see some TikTok clips. I need to see some TikTok clips of Jean-Luc Mélenchon looking like he's got aura. Okay. People are saying Pakistan violated the ceasefire, although I can't find credible sources. Okay. We'll get to that later. We're not going to do news yet. We're not going to do news yet. You're actually live at the time when French people are awake. Yeah. It's not that late here. It's only 7:38 here. 2 clips. What are these clips?
La première des choses.
Okay, well, so here's the thing I'm gonna say, okay? Are you gonna go to any bougie food place while you're there? I have. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. Personal news wise, I took a 1-hour power nap before this, and I also showered really quickly before this. And this is gonna be the jankiest. This is probably gonna be the jankiest interview I've ever done. Cause like I didn't actually do this. I didn't actually put this together with like what do you call it? I don't have anybody here. It's just me, myself, and I. So bear with me, okay? I am going to take this camera and place it in the middle of the living room when the team gets here. Okay? When the team gets here, and we're going to dive into a conversation with Jean-Luc Mélenchon, leader of the France Unbowed Party, La France Insoumise. Am I saying it right? I hope I'm saying it right. He is he's one of the most popular, if not the most popular, French leftist politician. We're going to be talking to him about that. We're going to talk about sectarian infighting that takes place inside of the different left French parties under the new Popular Front coalition that was formed, and you know the future of socialism, communism, leftist politics in France, what some of the major issues are in France for young French people, and what the Nationalist Party has done in terms of how they've been able to generate a lot of excitement around themselves, and a lot more. Okay. But then we'll also talk about India, Pakistan after. This is a real leader, no fun and games. I mean, we'll have some fun and games as well. Don't worry. There's no way that this will be a 100% super serious interview. It never is for someone like myself. I did prepare for the interview. I studied the Blade quite a bit. I'm still nervous regardless. And yeah. So that's it. In any case, here is let's blast off. Let's get started. Let's get it twisted. And then and you know, let's do the damn thing. Talking to about the future of the left, international solidarity, future of the left in France, international solidarity, and Macron's undemocratic moves and more. Also, later, I will be covering India. You shouldn't mention China if you want to keep it chill. Wait, what do you mean? Or offer him a light phrase. He likes it. Milk and strawberry syrup. I don't know if we have that, but I can ask. Feels so weird as a French guy to have Mélenchon on stream, law. I think you guys are forgetting who your goat is, okay? Me. Okay, they're here. Oh, they're here already. Hold on. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Hold on. They're here already. All right. Oh, this is... All right. We're starting already. Let's go. And then
Like.
okay. Wait 1 second.
Ils ont rien enlevé en fait. Hein? En tout cas, ils ont rien enlevé.
Alrighty. Okay. I think we're good. This is
274.
this is as good as he's gonna get.
Ok.
Is it? Let's see if it's dark or not. Let me just check real quick.
Si c'est bon pour l'installation caméra.
Ok.
Every time I do this, there's always it's like live production, so there's always a couple quirks that I have to work through, but I think we're good.
Il dit c'est toujours du live, donc il y a toujours un petit.
It's live production, so.
Il y a toujours des petits trucs comme ça.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
Very excited to have you.
Là, c'est démarré, là?
Ouais.
Yeah, we're live already. We've been live. And ladies and gentlemen, Jean-Luc Mélenchon of France Unbowed.
It's me.
What would I don't want to mess this up because I don't speak any French whatsoever. It's La France Insoumise.
Yes.
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay, all right, perfect. La France Insoumise, the leader of the
Attends, mais
French.
comment ça se traduit,
Left.
France Insoumise?
France unbowed.
Yes,
Il a dit
France
avant.
en bas.
Ah, ok,
yeah.
ok.
Okay. So one of the first things I wanted to talk to you about is what France Unbowed means, because we have a lot of people in my audience that are unfamiliar with French politics. So I want to get started by talking about how this party formed and what the name of it is.
Il veut commencer par savoir qu'est-ce que ça veut dire la France insoumise. Beaucoup de gens dans son audience ne connaissent pas forcément la politique française. Donc qu'est-ce que ça veut dire et comment ce parti s'est formé, c'est quoi son histoire?
Il va falloir que je compacte, mais nous sommes, we French are a very, comme on dit, agité, un peuple remuant.
We're a very agitated people.
Yes, yes. Oh, we know. We see all the time with protests all the time
Alors,
happening.
Nous sommes capables des meilleures choses. We are able of the,
We're capable of the best,
et aussi du pire.
but also of the worst.
Okay.
Et on a du talent dans les deux domaines.
And we're very talented in both domains.
Oh,
We're the best.
absolutely. Okay,
Bon.
I agree.
Voilà.
Il est d'accord.
Le mouvement insoumis, ce n'est pas un parti, c'est un mouvement.
The France Insoumise is referred as a movement and not a party.
C'est un peu délicat, je laisse cette question de côté, d'accord?
I just put this aside for now.
Okay.
Le fond de l'affaire, c'est que la politique en France, la scène politique a explosé.
The French political scene has exploded.
Les partis traditionnels se sont effondrés en même temps. Le
Traditional,
Parti socialiste et la droite.
traditional parties just collapsed all at the same time. The Parti Socialiste, which was the center-left party, and the center-right,
Comme aux États-Unis.
like in the USA.
Yeah.
Le Parti républicain s'est effondré, dévoré par M. Trump, et le Parti démocrate s'est effondré comme parti de gauche, dévoré, hélas, par personne.
The Republican Party in the US has been eaten up by Trump, and the Democratic Party has also collapsed, the left in the Democratic Party, but unfortunately was not eaten up by anyone.
Yeah. Well,
Je termine juste en vous disant, nous sommes entrés avec audace sur la scène, et nous avons fait la jonction avec les mouvements populaires français. Pour résumer tout ça.
We entered with great audacity on French political scene, and we made a kind of junction with the French popular social movements.
Okay, perfect. We have basically two right-wing parties in America, as you're aware of.
On a en gros deux partis de droite aux États-Unis, comme vous le savez.
Yes.
Yeah, both of our parties are right-wing.
Ah, mais ça fait plaisir d'entendre dire ça.
But it's cool to hear it from an American voice.
Parce que moi j'ai dit, on me dit Monsieur Trump a gagné contre la gauche. On me dit pourquoi la gauche a perdu. J'ai dit la gauche n'a pas perdu, il n'y a pas de gauche aux États-Unis.
Because I was asked like, why Mr. Trump won? Why did he won against the left? And I just said no, he didn't won against the left because there is no left in the USA.
Absolutely. So it's a movement more so than the traditional party system, is what you're saying. And I guess this brings me to my first question. What happened in the last election? Because it seemed like the left was able to get together with even center-left parties and create a new popular front. And for a brief moment, there seemingly was stability, and it brought a decent amount of, it brought a victory, but then it seems to me like Macron did something unprecedented and did something undemocratic, as a matter of fact, in one of the most important countries for democracy historically, carrying on at least the liberal democratic tradition. So if you don't mind giving my audience a little bit more background into that, that would be wonderful.
Ok, ça m'amène à ma première question qui est qu'est-ce qui s'est passé dans la dernière élection, puisque de mon point de vue, apparemment la gauche avait réussi à s'unir, même avec certaines parties du centre-gauche, et à obtenir une victoire qui aurait pu apporter de la stabilité. Mais Macron a fait quelque chose de sans précédent, et même quelque chose d'antidémocratique dans un des pays historiquement les plus importants
Oui.
pour la démocratie. Donc est-ce que vous voudriez bien expliquer un peu ça pour les gens qui regardent?
Mais vous avez fait un résumé parfait de ce qui s'est passé.
Your take was perfect on what happened actually.
Nous sommes... c'est incroyable. Et le monsieur Macron a eu beaucoup de cynisme, beaucoup d'audace aussi, mais au sens le plus criminel du terme. C'est du jamais vu. Vous faites une élection, nous gagnons l'élection et il décide que ce n'est pas nous qui avons gagné. Et il appelle comme Premier ministre un représentant du plus petit parti de l'Assemblée nationale, de droite.
It was really incredible. Like Macron was very cynical about it. Him too had a great audacity, but more in a criminal sense of the term. It was like never seen. Like you call an election, we won the election, and then Mr. Macron has called a prime minister who's a member of the smallest party in the French National Assembly.
Alors nous sommes passés à la contre-offensive dans l'Assemblée nationale. Et nous avons fait tomber le premier gouvernement qui a été nommé par M. Macron. Vas-y.
We started to get on counter-attack mode in the French National Assembly, and we deposed a motion of no confidence against the first prime minister that was appointed by Mr. Macron, and we managed to fell him.
Alors c'est un fait historique, parce que pour la première fois, la gauche radicale dans un pays fait tomber un gouvernement de droite sans tirer un coup de fusil ni faire un mètre de barricade.
It's really an historical fact because for the first time in this country, the radical left managed to take over a government without one shot being fired and 1 meter of barricades being put.
Et nous allions, dans cette contre-offensive, un gouvernement tombe, donc le suivant arrive, et on a dit on va recommencer. On va faire à nouveau une motion de censure. Et là, c'est le centre-gauche qui a sauvé M. Macron, c'est-à-dire les démocrates en France, le Parti socialiste français.
And then we said, well, we have to keep going this counter-attack, and so the next government was appointed by Mr. Macron. We decided that we should depose another motion of no confidence against him to also fail him. But this time it was actually the center-left that decided to not vote this motion of no confidence, and it was the center-left that saved Macron, the Parti Socialiste, which is like the equivalent of the Democratic Party.
Yeah. So the question, actually, this is perfect to talk about. The question I have is about the other coalition parties under the new Popular Front. There is seemingly endless sectarian infighting that takes place on the left. Is it how is this? Is there any way to combat this? Is this a real problem, especially with the upcoming elections? What are your goals in particular?
Alors du coup, je veux parler un peu des autres partis dans le nouveau Front populaire. Apparemment, il y a sans cesse des petits combats sectaires dans ce nouveau Front populaire. Est-ce que c'est un réel problème? Est-ce qu'il y a moyen de surmonter ça? Quels sont vos objectifs en particulier pour les prochaines élections?
Bon. Je pense que ce ne sont pas des petites querelles. Ce sont des questions de fond qui sont posées. Je vous donne un exemple. C'est la situation à Gaza. Nous avons, dès le début, nous nous sommes référés au droit international. Et ensuite, nous avons été présents le jour de la Cour internationale de justice. Et ensuite, nous avons condamné le génocide. Et à cause de cela, depuis le 7 octobre, nous sommes sans arrêt accusés d'antisémitisme et de tout. Et dans cette circonstance, il y a eu, nous, fermement aux côtés des Palestiniens, les socialistes, qui sont le centre-gauche, eux, dans une position n'osant rien dire. Et pour nous, cette divergence-là, par exemple, elle est considérable. Parce que si nous faisons semblant d'être des bons amis du centre-gauche au moment où ils abandonnent la population de Gaza, c'est nous qui serons rejetés aussi, et pas seulement eux.
I don't think it's only a little sectarian views, but it's a real problem. I give you an example. Our position about Gaza. Us, Insoumise, from the beginning, we referred to international law in Gaza to be restored. We were present at the International Justice Court when there was the hearing of Israel and
South Africa.
South Africa. We condemned the genocide happening in Gaza, and because of this, we've been since the beginning accused of everything and accused of particularly anti-Semitism.
I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
Ouais, il connaît ça. So we stand with the Palestinian people, whereas like the Parti Socialiste, so the center left, has adopted a position where they don't say anything, they're afraid of saying anything. And for us, this...
They accuse us to be anti-Semites.
And yeah, they accuse us of being anti-Semites. And this difference between us is not a small one for us. Because if we make believe to be friend with those guys, it's not only them, but also us that will be rejected by all the people in France that are that have feelings for the people in Gaza.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What are some solutions to that in terms of being able to whip the rest of the parties into shape in an effort to launch a united opposition once again when push comes to shove, especially with the very real threat of a nationalist party potentially coming into power?
Quelles sont les solutions à ça? Est-ce que ça passe par essayer de reconstruire une opposition unifiée, en particulier par rapport au contexte de la menace réelle d'avoir un parti nationaliste qui arrive au pouvoir?
La solution, c'est que la masse des gens dans les quartiers populaires et dans la jeunesse aillent voter.
The solution resides in that the mass of the people in the youth and in popular working class areas go out to vote.
Parce que l'union des partis ne suffit pas. Et dans ces partis, il y a des comportements qui sont considérés comme inacceptables par les milieux populaires, les milieux racisés, tu sais le traduire ça, les milieux de la jeunesse engagée politiquement, que ça dégoûte de voir ces partis. Et des fois qu'ils nous reprochent d'être alliés avec eux. Donc la vraie solution, c'est la démocratie. Les gens doivent aller voter. Parce que sinon, on passe son temps à faire voter n'importe quoi parce qu'on a peur. Alors, comme on a peur, ah mon Dieu, on ne parle pas de ci, on ne parle pas de là, on ne répond pas à telle question, la peur, tout le temps la peur. Non, ça, nous refusons ça. Il y en a assez, on en a jusque-là. Chez vous, on vous fait voter démocrate, c'est-à-dire quelque chose qui n'a aucun sens, à cause de la peur de M. Trump. Le résultat, vous avez M. Trump. Donc nous ne ferons pas ça. C'est long, hein, notre affaire.
Hey, because you know, uniting the parties is not enough. Because in these parties, there are people that have positions that are unacceptable for large part of working class people, of immigration background people, of the youth, the young people. So the solution is really democracy. People must go out to vote. Otherwise, we just do anything or vote anything only based on fear. And we silence any subject, or we vote for the less worst only for fear. In your home country, they made you vote Democrat based on the fear of Trump, and the result of that is that you have Trump. So we won't be doing this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Speaking of my home country, I feel like Americans, with the exception of nationalist movements, Americans are broadly blind to international solidarity. American left, in particular, has completely lost the internationalist tradition, whether it be a socialist one or even any sort of solidarity whatsoever. I would say neoliberals are united across the board. They coalesce around similar goals, and the right certainly is united as well in this growing movement of fascism, from the AfD in Germany to obviously the Nationalist Party here, to Elon Musk and Donald Trump and what they're doing in the United States of America. Do you see this as a new fascist wave growing internationally, and how can the American left work to combat this?
En parlant des États-Unis, j'ai l'impression que les Américains, à part ceux qui sont dans la droite nationaliste, sont très aveugles aux questions internationales et à ce qui se passe dans le monde. Même la gauche américaine a perdu la tradition internationaliste, qu'elle soit socialiste au sens radical ou même autre que ça. Les néolibéraux, quelque part, sont aussi unis. La droite est vraiment très unie, de l'AfD au Rassemblement national, en passant par Elon Musk et Donald Trump. Est-ce que vous voyez là-dedans une nouvelle vague mondiale fasciste, et comment la gauche peut y répondre aussi de manière plus internationaliste?
Alors, oui, vous avez raison. La gauche aux États-Unis nous a ignorés absolument. Nous avons eu les plus grandes difficultés pour arriver à parler avec Bernie Sanders. Là, je l'ai fait la dernière fois qu'on y a été. C'était la première fois. On lui a envoyé des lettres, on a pris des contacts. Rien. Ça ne les intéresse pas. Ils ne s'intéressent qu'aux États-Unis d'Amérique. Point. Ça, c'est la première chose.
First, yes, you're right about the American left. We ourselves had very big difficulties to reach out and to meet with Bernie Sanders. I met with him last time I was in the USA, but it was the first time, and before that we had great difficulties. We sent him letters, we tried to reach out, but nothing. They were only interested in what's happening in the USA and not international.
Nous avons maintenant un contact qui a été établi avec DSA, parce que c'est les seuls qui se sont intéressés à nous.
We now have contact established with DSA, Democratic Socialist of America, for the reason that they are the only one that have shown an interest in us.
Yeah.
Bon, après, oui, il y a une vague européenne. Le reste, je ne peux pas en parler. Je ne sais pas en Asie comment c'est, en Afrique comment c'est. Mais en Europe, oui, il y a une vague fasciste. Et il faut bien comprendre pourquoi c'est comme ça.
Yes, there is a European wave of fascism. I can't speak about what's happening in Asia or Africa because I know less. But in Europe, yes, there is a fascist wave, and you have to really understand why.
Toute l'Union européenne, c'est des anciens partis, des anciens pays communistes, où toutes les structures sociales ont été détruites. Les structures sociales d'avant.
The east of the European Union is only former communist countries where all the social structures of the past have been destroyed.
Et dans l'Europe de l'Ouest, toutes les structures sociales ont été détruites ou en cours de destruction à cause des politiques néolibérales.
And in Western Europe, all social structures have been destroyed or are being destroyed right now because of neoliberal policies.
Il y a donc une agitation populaire, une tension dans toutes les sociétés. Et pour faire face, la droite a produit l'extrême droite. L'extrême droite ne tombe pas du ciel. L'extrême droite, c'est un projet, de l'argent, des dirigeants, des médias, et ils ont méthodiquement construit une extrême droite dans toute l'Europe. Pourquoi? Pour diviser le peuple sur des bases racistes, religieuses, l'islamophobie. L'extrême droite, c'est une stratégie des dominants. Ce n'est pas un hasard de l'histoire.
And to face this, so there is big tension and big social agitation around this social structure being destroyed. And to face this, the right has produced the far right. Because the far right doesn't fall from the sky. It has been built, it has money, it has its media, so it has been really constructed according to plan. And the plan is to divide the people on a racial basis, on a religious basis, with the growing Islamophobia in Europe. You have to see the far right as a strategy of the dominating people.
Par conséquent, la riposte, ça consiste à travailler réellement pour gagner la confiance populaire. Et nous y sommes arrivés dans de très nombreux secteurs populaires de notre pays. Mais il faut travailler, pas parler. Il faut parler aussi, mais il faut aller porte après porte, toc toc toc, bonjour, nous vous proposons ceci, nous vous proposons cela. C'est-à-dire être présent et être dans les combats. La gauche institutionnelle ne fiche rien. Elle bavarde, elle dit des choses que personne ne comprend, et ça donne ce que donne ce qu'a fait Madame Kamala Harris. Elle parle à personne.
To win this fight against the far right, you have to work in order to gain popular trust. So we managed to gain popular trust in some sectors of our people, but for doing this you have to work. You don't have to only talk, you have to go door after door, you have to be in the fights with the people. And here the institutional left does nothing. It's not in the fight with people, it doesn't work. It does something similar to Kamala Harris did, so that doesn't speak to anyone.
Et je veux juste terminer en vous donnant... Nous avons fait la preuve matérielle de ce que je suis en train de vous dire. Là, les quartiers où nous avons, porte après porte, fait réinscrire des gens sur le droit de voter, la liste électorale, c'est là que le Front populaire a fait ses plus gros scores et c'est là qu'a été acquise la victoire. À ces endroits-là.
We have like a material proof of what I'm saying is that we see that the areas in France where we were door to door and where we had a big campaign for voter registration, it's also this area where the New Popular Front made its biggest scores, and it's in these areas that the election was won.
Yeah. The left's inability or the left, the Democratic Party in America and all of the other neoliberal counterparts in Europe and their inability to combat fascism comes from the fact that sometimes it feels like they are playing the role of controlled opposition rather than showing a true vision of change, either because they are fearful of their same masters of capital, or because they're genuinely worried about disrupting the systems that they've played a role in designing. In terms of, I want to switch gears a little bit, and hold on, let me see. I have some notes here.
Hein?
I was gonna look up notes real quick, but as far as the instability goes, where is most of your momentum coming from? Because I hear that there's a lot of youth backing you here in France, and also working class background people as well. Would you say that's correct?
Alors, pour rebondir sur ce que tu viens de dire, lui pense l'incapacité des démocrates et de toute la gauche néolibérale européenne qui sont leurs contreparties en Europe à combattre le fascisme, c'est parce que parfois on a l'impression qu'ils se comportent plus comme une opposition contrôlée que comme quelque chose qui va proposer un réel changement. Peut-être c'est parce qu'ils ont peur des mêmes maîtres du capital que les autres, ou qu'ils ont vraiment peur de secouer le cocotier des institutions auxquelles ils participent. Et sinon, il voulait quand même demander tout son succès, d'où il vient en France. Lui, il entend qu'il y a beaucoup de la jeunesse qui nous soutient et de gens de secteurs populaires, d'origine populaire. Est-ce que tu dirais que c'est vrai?
I guess the question is, who is demanding radical change in France?
Qui en fait en France demande, quels groupes sociaux demandent un changement radical?
D'abord, je veux répondre sur le centre-gauche.
First, I want to say something about center-left.
Moi, je ne veux pas être une vision simpliste, accusatoire, je ne sais pas comment on dit ça en anglais, accusatoire, de...
I don't want to have a simplistic vision or to just being someone that accuse others.
Le centre-gauche, les partis socialistes, le parti démocrate, tous ont en commun leur doctrine, leur logiciel est le suivant. Un, si le capitalisme doit bien fonctionner. S'il fonctionne bien, on pourra avoir des avantages pour les travailleurs. Voilà le raisonnement. Ils n'ont pas vu que le capitalisme a changé, ils ne partagent plus rien. Avant, vous faites la grève, vous savez où habite votre patron. Aujourd'hui, vous faites la grève, vous ne savez pas où est le patron. C'est un fonds transnational, bon. Premier exemple. Deuxième élément, le logiciel social-démocrate est aberrant. Parce que pour que ça marche, il faut produire sans cesse plus, vendre sans cesse plus. Comme s'il n'y avait pas de crise écologique. Ce qui m'a frappé quand je suis allé aux États-Unis, c'est que personne, dans les gauches que j'ai rencontrées, ne m'a parlé un instant de la crise écologique et du danger majeur pour la civilisation humaine. Personne. J'ai eu l'impression qu'on vivait dans le passé, à une autre époque.
So, what the center-left parties have in common, it's that they share a doctrine. That is one, capitalism has to function well, and that is, if it's functioning well, we can have advantages for the workers. That's a vision of the past that didn't see that capitalism has changed. In the past, when you went on strike, you knew who the boss, who the CEO was. Today, when you go on strike, you don't even know who the CEO was. It's like an international fund, an hedge fund that you don't know. And second, their doctrine, this doctrine of the center left, says that you have to produce more and always more, and consume more and always more. And it's as they didn't know that the ecological crisis was happening. I was very struck that during my stay in the USA, nobody, even from the left, said anything to me about the ecological crisis. It was like it didn't existed. I felt like we were living in the past.
Yeah. So that actually brings me to my second point that I wanted to ask. What are some of the biggest crises that the French population is facing right now, and how do you want to address that?
Donc, quelles sont les plus grosses crises que le peuple français fait face?
Nous sommes un peuple qui est défini, qui s'est constitué autour de son État et de ses services publics. Le néolibéralisme détruit l'État et détruit les services publics pour qu'ils soient remplacés par des services privés. Par conséquent, c'est toute la population française qui est frappée. Et c'est même l'identité du pays qui est mise en cause. C'est pourquoi la crise est si profonde et pourquoi il y a une colère qui est aussi répandue et des fois elle porte sur tout. Prenons un exemple. En France, nous avions le meilleur système de santé du monde. Aujourd'hui, vous pouvez mourir à l'hôpital en attendant d'être soigné. Nous étions parmi les premiers pays du monde pour la santé des enfants. Nous sommes maintenant 23e sur 27 pour la mortalité infantile. Nous vivons une catastrophe du mode de vie, de la manière de vivre des Français. Et c'est pourquoi la situation paraît si incroyable à tout le monde. Tout le monde est concerné. Les trains n'arrivent plus à l'heure, l'hôpital ne marche pas, l'école ne marche plus. On a l'impression que le sol, la vie de tous les jours se disloque. C'est pourquoi il y a une base très, 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 très profonde d'opposition au pouvoir des néolibéraux, quels qu'ils soient.
We as a French people have constructed ourselves around the states and the public services. And neoliberalism just destroys the states, it destroys public services. And so it's all the French population that is struck, and even in its core identity. It's a very deep crisis, and that's why there is so much anger in the French people that is on so much issues. For example, we used to be one of the best healthcare system in the world, and today in French hospital you can die waiting for care.
Waiting.
Yeah, we had the best reputation for health for children, and today we are the 23rd European country out of 27 for infant mortality. So it's really a catastrophe for our entire way of life, and it seems incredible for everyone that trains are not on time anymore, that schools, public schools don't work anymore, that our hospitals don't work anymore. So it's the French everyday life that seems being collapsing, and that's why there is such a broad social basis for radical change.
Do French people recognize that it is austerity that has caused their living conditions to collapse as opposed to previous generations? Or are they also falling to the mercy of reactionary propaganda and falling to the whims of right-wing nationalist parties, especially when there is no viable, in their eyes, up until recently, no real viable socialist alternative?
Est-ce que les Français reconnaissent que c'est l'austérité qui est la cause de leurs maux, ou bien est-ce qu'ils tombent aussi dans la propagande réactionnaire qui accuse d'autres pour ces maux, spécialement à l'époque, c'est-à-dire avant notre émergence, où il n'y avait pas vraiment d'alternative de gauche radicale pour faire face?
Oui, vous avez tout à fait raison. Tout à fait raison. C'est ça qui s'est passé. Et ça s'est passé dans tous les pays de l'Europe de l'Ouest. Les gens ont vécu, ils ont compris que toute leur vie était agressée et personne ne leur dit quoi faire. Sinon, il faut travailler encore, il faut produire davantage. Et s'il y a des problèmes, c'est à cause des Arabes, c'est à cause des musulmans, c'est à cause des immigrés. Oui, ça a marché, ils n'ont fait que ça pendant 10 ans. Vous savez, l'extrême droite en France, ça fait 56 ans que le parti de M. Le Pen existe. Nous, ça fait même pas 10 ans. Même pas 10 ans.
Ouais. Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is what happened, and it happened in all Western Europe countries.
Yeah.
People have seen all their life being under attack, and no one told them what to do, apart from you have to work more, you have to produce more, and everything is the fault of the Arabs, everything is the fault of the Muslims, everything is the fault of the migrants. And they've been doing this for actually for decades. You know that the Rassemblement National, the nationalist French party, is around from 56 years, and we've been around less than 10 years.
Yeah.
Et quand les gens ordinaires regardent la télé, ils voient les partis de la gauche traditionnelle, et les partis de la gauche traditionnelle leur disent il faut être raisonnable, il n'y a pas d'argent, nous le comprenons, il faut faire des efforts. C'est-à-dire que la gauche traditionnelle, pour des gens qui écoutent de loin, dit la même chose que la droite. Donc, dans tous ces pays, la seule alternative, ça a été de se tourner vers l'extrême droite. C'est vous qui avez raison, c'est comme ça que ça s'est passé. Ça s'est passé aussi bien dans l'ancienne Europe de l'Est que l'Europe de l'Ouest. Mais pour renverser, il faut être clair, net, précis. Il faut dire, c'est tout ce système que nous rejetons, et surtout, il faut être concret. C'est-à-dire, il faut dire comment on va le faire. Avec quelles mesures? Que les gens comprennent. Donc il faut travailler les programmes, réfléchir aux solutions et ne jamais laisser un mètre de terrain aux autres.
When ordinary people watch TV in Europe, they see the traditional left parties saying to them, we have to be reasonable because there is no money, we have to make more efforts. So if you're looking a bit from far away, you're actually seeing that traditional left and traditional right are saying basically the same thing. So what people thought is that the far right was actually the only alternative to the system. So to change this situation, you have to be very clear. You have to be very clear that you are an anti-system, that you are against this system, and you have also to be very concrete in order to work on concrete propositions and to work on the program.
Okay, I have a suggestion. It seems like France is becoming more like America. So here's a slogan. You just say, "Don't become like America."
Il a une suggestion. On dirait que la France devient de plus en plus comme les États-Unis. Donc il nous propose un slogan qui serait « Ne devenez pas les États-Unis ».
Oui, mais c'est pour ça que des gens comme lui sont importants.
This is why people like you are very important for us.
Pour nous.
I try.
Il essaye.
Mais ça va le faire.
But we're gonna make it.
I hope so.
J'espère.
Bon,
Okay.
on a fait le tour là, non?
Oh, by the way, we can keep going for as long as you guys want to. I don't want to keep you if you have any other commitments.
Have you read my book?
I have not yet.
Je lui donne.
So this is a
my
book that you
gift.
wrote. Thank you so much. This is a book that you wrote that you now translate to English recently, right? Am I getting that correctly, or
C'est
is
ça,
this?
c'est un livre que tu as écrit et qui a été traduit récemment en anglais.
Oui, et
Yeah.
qui vient. C'est pour ça que je suis allé aux États-Unis.
That's why he went to New
Yeah.
York.
So that's what I was going to ask you about. So they say you're an incredible orator and you love talking. I do too. And a lot of my friends that actually listened to your speeches, they loved it. They thought it was amazing. But let me ask you, what was the most surprising thing about your visit to America?
Qu'est-ce qui était le plus surprenant quand tu as visité les États-Unis? Avant ça, il a dit que tu étais un super bon orateur.
Non,
il
mais
n'assumait pas.
j'ai juste vu New York, quelques rues. Dis-lui.
I only saw New York City and not a lot of streets even of New York City.
Je vous parle franchement.
Honestly.
Pour moi, les États-Unis d'Amérique, c'est. Là devient tous nos ennuis.
For me, the United States of America is the place where all the troubles come from.
Et
It's true.
c'est la deuxième fois que j'y vais.
The second time that I was there.
Yeah.
La première fois
The first time I was like,
Uh-huh.
et la deuxième, je suis obligé de l'avouer,
and the second time, I have to confess,
ça m'a plu.
I liked it.
Oh, okay.
New York.
Okay. Just New York. What was
Ce n'est
it?
pas le reste.
What did you was it the food? Did you have anything crazy when you were there?
Est-ce que c'est la nourriture qui t'a plu? Est-ce que tu as eu des trucs de
Ah
fou?
non, non, la nourriture.
No, not the food.
Non, mais il y avait des très bons restaurants italiens et français.
They were
New
very, we found very good Italian and French restaurants in New
Mais
York.
personne ne va au magasin à New York.
But no one goes to the stores in New York?
No.
Ça n'arrête pas de livrer des colis partout.
It seems like everything is being delivered everywhere.
Yeah. That's what
It's
happens
very
when you
strange
have a,
for us.
That's what happens when you have a servile underclass that is a part of the gig economy because there's no jobs.
C'est ce qui arrive quand il y a une sous-classe qui ne fait que survivre dans cette
Oui.
économie ubérisée.
Oui, on me l'a dit. Et nous, on commence aussi à vivre comme ça.
And that it's starting to be like this in France too.
Yeah.
Mais si nous gagnons ici,
If we win there,
on viendra vous donner un coup de main.
we will help you here in America.
I hope so. What you've described about Bernie Sanders, I've heard from other socialist and communist politicians as well. I talked to Ofer Kasif from Israel, Minister of the Knesset. He was recently barred, and he kept ringing the alarm bells leading up to October 7. He's a part of Habash, and he's an anti-Zionist. And one of the things that he brought up to me was exactly what you said, where he was trying to reach out to Bernie Sanders' office ahead of time, talking about the escalating attacks in the West Bank and how much that was most likely radicalizing the people in Gaza, and how that would most likely create retaliation before October 7. And unfortunately, Bernie had not heeded those calls at all. And hopefully this is something that we can address and have a more internationalist perspective on the left in the United States of America as well, considering the damage that we do to the rest of the world.
Ouais, il dit que ce que tu as dit sur Bernie Sanders, c'est des choses que lui ont dit d'autres leaders de gauche radicale ou de partis communistes dans le monde qu'il a rencontrés. Et là, il parlait d'un député de la Knesset qui est membre du Parti communiste israélien, donc qui est antisioniste, et qui, dans les années avant le 7 octobre, avait essayé comme nous, avait essayé de rencontrer Bernie Sanders et tout, et surtout avait une analyse qui alertait sur le fait que l'agressivité grandissante d'Israël à l'encontre des Palestiniens dans la Cisjordanie allait aussi créer des répercussions et des répercussions qui pouvaient être terribles, comme l'a été le 7 octobre. Mais bon, il n'avait pas réussi à contacter Bernie Sanders, ce qui est dommage à son avis. Il espère que la gauche américaine pourrait surmonter ça, devenir plus internationaliste dans le futur.
Mais vous avez quand même de la chance aux États-Unis parce que la communauté juive américaine est restée une communauté ouverte, avec des contradictions, avec des points de vue différents, des fois des chocs. Et donc, il y a eu la possibilité d'entendre une parole de la communauté qui ne partage pas le crime. Et ça vous permet plus facilement d'expliquer que ce n'est pas la même chose, juif et israélien. Ce n'est pas la même chose. Et que on peut donc arriver à vivre plus normalement dans nos pays. Nous, en France, malheureusement, il n'y a eu qu'un seul point de vue. Tous ceux qui étaient contre ce qui se passait à Gaza ont été qualifiés d'antisémites. Point final. Et aucune discussion possible avec quelques secteurs de la communauté, quelques organisations courageuses, mais très petites et surtout très persécutées. Et il y a eu un blackout sur toute opposition à ce qui se passait à Gaza. Et maintenant, ça c'est la première chose que je veux lui dire.
One chance that you have in the USA, I think, is that the Jewish community in the USA has stayed an open community with a lot of contradiction inside it, different points of views, and there was the possibility in the USA to hear a Jewish point of view against the crime of Netanyahu in Gaza. And so it was easier to explain to everyone that Jewish and Israeli are two separate and different things. In France, there was only one point of view that was accepted, and everyone that was against the crime in Gaza was called an anti-Semite. There are only in the French Jewish community small and very brave organizations that oppose the crime, but for the rest was kind of a blackout on the opposition of the Netanyahu crimes in Gaza.
Et la deuxième chose, c'est que beaucoup de politiciens se croient habiles en faisant du clientélisme à l'égard des partisans de M. Netanyahou. Donc ils se disent faisons attention, ne nous affrontons pas. Bon, et ils ratent une occasion d'éducation populaire de masse. Parce que dans notre pratique à nous, nous considérons que toutes les crises sont des occasions d'éducation populaire de masse. Et pour résumer notre stratégie, je vais me référer à Chavez, je pense que ça va me valoir quelques ennuis dans votre pays. Et lui disait, nous ne construisons pas un parti révolutionnaire. Nous construisons un peuple révolutionnaire. Et pour qu'il y ait un peuple révolutionnaire, il faut qu'il puisse s'éduquer dans les événements. Donc on lui dise ce qu'il se passe et qu'il soit en quelque sorte presque obligé de choisir Voilà ce qu'il faut faire.
And also, there's a lot of politicians that I think that they are very smart in being very in trying to gain the votes of the support of Netanyahu here in France or in other countries. So they don't want to offend them. They don't want to defend Gaza too much. And in doing so, they miss an occasion for popular mass education. Because we think that every crisis is also an opportunity for popular mass education. And I'm going to quote Hugo Chavez. Maybe it's going to make me in trouble in your country.
Not in my audience.
Mais pas dans les gens qui le regardent.
Yeah.
He said that we are not building a revolutionary party, we are building a revolutionary people. And in order to build a revolutionary people, we have to do this mass education at all times.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of foreign policy, it feels like Macron has sidestepped domestic affairs due to unprecedented unpopularity and has now repositioned himself as a foreign policy leader for France instead of completely stepping away from politics and waiting out the end of his term. He's now seemingly making himself more present in the international stage as he speaks out against Donald Trump and offers support to Ukraine, even saying things such as potentially sending troops to Ukraine. But outside of that, he seemingly has taken some notes from more radical elements in French society, considering that his pivot on Gaza has been shocking, to say the least. He has been very critical of Israel as of the last couple of months. Do you feel like this is insincere, or do you think this is a real change of heart? Is this just more Macron trickery? What's going on there?
Juste en parlant de politique étrangère, on a l'impression que Macron s'est un peu retiré de la politique intérieure en France à cause d'une impopularité sans précédent, mais que du coup, plutôt que d'attendre la fin de son mandat, il est devenu plus un leader de politique étrangère en France, qui se fait plus voir sur la scène étrangère. Bon, il y a par exemple le fait que sur l'Ukraine, il a essayé de prendre le contre-pied de Trump, même en disant des trucs un peu fous comme d'envoyer des troupes. Mais ce que je voulais dire, c'est que sur d'autres dossiers, on a l'impression qu'il a été influencé, qu'il a pris en compte en tout cas des avis plus radicaux dans le peuple français, parce que par exemple son pivot qu'il a fait sur Gaza était très choquant, enfin très étonnant pour le moins qu'on puisse dire. Comment vous voyez ça? Il a été ces dernières semaines plus critique d'Israël qu'il ne l'avait été avant. Est-ce que c'est insincère pour vous? Est-ce qu'il a vraiment eu un changement d'avis? Est-ce que c'est un truc de Macron encore? Trucage.
Dans la période récente, en effet, il a tenu un point de vue plus critique à l'égard de Netanyahou. Mais nous l'avons connu, nous, 2 jours après le 7 octobre, proposant de faire une coalition internationale comme contre Daesh. C'est-à-dire qu'il proposait d'entrer en guerre contre Hamas et contre la population palestinienne. Donc maintenant, nous le voyons dire d'autres choses. On peut se demander en effet pourquoi. Mais il y a une raison, c'est que massivement, les Français sont hostiles à la politique de M. Netanyahou. Massivement. Et on ne peut pas... Il est déjà impopulaire pour des raisons intérieures. Il essaye d'être... Il ne peut pas se payer le luxe d'être aussi impopulaire pour des raisons internationales.
It's true that in the recent periods he has expressed a more critical point of view towards Netanyahu, but we also have known here in France the Macron that 2 days after October 7th was proposing an ISIS-like international coalition, an international coalition like the one that was against ISIS to help Netanyahu. And so it was proposing that France would go to war against the Palestinian people. Now it's saying a different thing. The question is why he's saying that. And there is a reason, is that the French people are massively hostile to Netanyahu international and policies in Gaza. So Macron, that is already really unpopular for domestic reasons, does not have the luxury to be, on top of that, unpopular for international reasons.
Yeah.
Mais l'Europe tout entière est couchée devant Trump. Ils gesticulent, ils parlent un peu, mais ils ne font rien. Et ils ont décidé de voter des budgets d'armement au niveau où Trump avait exigé qu'ils les votent. Par conséquent, le président Macron n'a aucune influence sur cette situation. Et ça, pour nous, c'est un problème, pour nous les Français, parce que on peut se demander si nous avons la capacité d'agir de manière efficace en étant enfermés dans un club comme l'Union européenne. Ou bien si nous devons agir pour notre propre compte dans le domaine des affaires étrangères. Parce que vous savez, en Europe, il y a un ministre des Affaires étrangères, mais il n'y a pas de politique européenne commune sur les affaires étrangères. Deuxièmement, il y a un commissaire chargé de la défense pour l'Europe, mais ça ne fait pas partie des compétences de l'Union européenne. Donc tout ça est une ambiance absolument irréelle. Il reste que les États de l'Europe veulent être membres de l'OTAN et font ce que Trump leur dit de faire. Est-ce que vous vous rendez compte que M. Trump a menacé deux de nos amis et alliés de toujours, le Mexique et le Canada, et personne n'a rien dit? M. Trump menace d'envahir le Groenland, qui normalement appartient à un pays de l'Europe, et personne ne dit rien. Tout ça est une comédie.
But you have to know that all European Union states have been really submitted to Trump. They talk a little bit, they agitate themselves a little bit, but in the end they really submitted, because they decided to vote for a budget fund, for arms fund, for at the levels that are the demands of Donald Trump. And Macron doesn't have any influence on this situation, which is a problem for us French, because we have to ask ourselves, are we able to act in an effective way being inside a club like the European Union? Should we act for our own self when it comes to international affairs? Because in Europe there is a kind of ministry for international affairs, but there is no common policies for international. There is a commissioner, a guy in the European Commission for defense, but there is not a common defense policy in Europe. So that doesn't make any sense. But European states, bottom line, want to be a part of NATO, and so that's why they submitted to Donald Trump. One example is that Donald Trump has threatened two of very good friends and allies of Europe, which are Mexico and Canada, and no one spoke up in Europe. This is incredible. Donald Trump threatened Greenland, which is supposed to be a part of a European Union country, Denmark, and no one really spoke up in Europe.
Yeah. No, there's no sovereignty for European nations as long as the NATO regime exists in the ways that it does. There's no sovereignty for European nations as long as America keeps dominating Europe. And I feel like this is something that right-wing parties, reactionary parties actually identify and criticize, even if they have no interest in breaking through that hegemony. But they will use that, as we've seen, as the right-wing parties did in the UK, where they talked about British sovereignty and how they must exit, they must do a Brexit, they must exit the European Union. or even I think Maloney, when she was running, spoke out against the European Union, and of course very quickly reaffirmed her position as being pro-NATO once she actually won power in Italy. But of course, given the history of NATO, a right-wing fascist would be very very accepting of NATO control in her country, considering that that's how they got any motion in Italy to begin with. But yeah, this is an angle of attack. The way to communicate on this could be from the perspective of sovereignty for European nations and independence.
Et c'est vrai, donc il dit, de son point de vue, il ne peut pas y avoir de réelle souveraineté pour les nations européennes tant que l'OTAN existe sous cette forme, et il ne peut pas y avoir de réelle souveraineté pour les nations européennes tant que l'hégémonie des États-Unis existe sous cette forme. Et il a l'impression que ce problème de souveraineté est aussi une brèche à l'intérieur de laquelle des partis nationalistes se sont engouffrés, même si à la fin ils n'ont pas vraiment d'intérêt pour briser cette hégémonie. Ils vont prendre quand même ce thème de la souveraineté, comme l'a fait l'extrême droite au Royaume-Uni, par exemple, au moment du Brexit. Même Meloni, pendant sa campagne, il croit, avait parlé contre l'Union européenne, avant de, une fois au pouvoir, se réaffirmer comme une grande défenseuse de l'OTAN.
Oui, et surtout, il faut bien comprendre... pardon. Ils savent tous la vérité. La vérité, c'est que la prochaine guerre, c'est contre la Chine. C'est ça qui préoccupe Trump et les secteurs dirigeants aux États-Unis d'Amérique. Et donc, ils préparent tous, ils écrivent, ils font des résolutions dans le Parlement européen, ils signent des textes dans le cadre de l'OTAN ou des rencontres internationales qui toutes désignent la Chine comme adversaire. Pas Poutine et la Russie, la Chine. Et nous avons, nous, le sentiment que c'est cette guerre-là qu'ils préparent. Et donc, pour l'instant, ils se préparent à être à nouveau tous d'accord avec les États-Unis d'Amérique. C'est ça qu'ils préparent. Ils ne préparent pas l'affirmation de la souveraineté, de je sais pas quoi, rien de tout ça. Rien de tout ça. Ils sont en train de préparer comment ils vont être avec les États-Unis d'Amérique contre la Chine, point final. Ils n'ont aucune volonté particulière. Ils n'ont pas de volonté. Ça, c'est sûr.
And they all know the truth. The truth is that the next war of the USA is against China. That's what Trump and the ruling class in the USA is actively preparing for. And,
et les démocrates sont d'accord.
And the Democratic Party also agrees with this. And so the European leaders are all preparing for this. They are voting resolution in the European Parliament against this. They are signing text in NATO meetings or international meetings that are all appointing China as the opponent, not Putin and Russia, but China. They are actually preparing themselves to be once again in accordance, to agree once again with America. They are not preparing themselves for sovereignty or anything else. They're preparing themselves to be against China with America. They have no proper will.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting because there is also economic warfare where Europe is the biggest, out of all of the Western powers, out of all of the global North nations, European countries are stuck between China and America and stand to lose the most from America's ambitions against China. Instead of trying to cut new deals with China and find a new way to engage in global cooperation, it seems like Europe is willing to take economic damage in the short term with the hopes that American hegemony will continue.
C'est aussi la question de la guerre économique. L'Europe est une région du monde qui en fait est coincée entre les États-Unis et la Chine et qui a le plus à perdre en fait de la guerre économique entre les États-Unis et la Chine. Et on a l'impression que les Européens, au lieu d'essayer de négocier eux-mêmes d'autres ou de meilleurs accords avec la Chine ou de s'engager dans une autre coopération commerciale dans le monde, est prête à accepter de prendre des coups sur son économie dans l'espoir qu'à long terme l'hégémonie américaine va continuer.
Dis-lui qu'il est le premier Américain que j'entends qui dit des choses sensées.
You're the first, you're the first American person he hears that says sensitive things.
I mean, it's true.
Et ben, nous sommes absolument d'accord
We are in complete accordance
sur ce qu'il vient de dire.
on what you just
Et
said.
nous pensons, je pense pour ma part, que les démocrates étaient plus sournois. Non, disons plus enjôleurs.
He's saying that the Democratic Party was more, I don't know how to traduce this word, they're more like
What's the word?
Kind.
soon,
With the European.
more like kind of, I don't know how to say that. They have not a brutal approach, but they have more kind of soft approach to the
Soft-handed.
China
Mais
problem.
Trump est ouvertement en train de vassaliser l'Europe.
Trump is openly making Europe his vassals.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Il dit, vous allez tous mettre 5% de votre richesse pour acheter des armes.
He says you have every one of you have to put 5% of your GDP to
Yeah.
buy arms,
C'est pas des armes françaises qu'ils vont acheter.
but they're not going to buy French arms.
Ils vont acheter des armes
They're
américaines.
going
Oh,
to
of
buy
course.
American,
Des F-35.
American arms like F-35.
Yeah.
Il n'y a pas
Yeah,
un
that's-
F-35 qui décolle simplement si les États-Unis ne veulent pas.
But F-35 fighter jets, to take this example, cannot work if the American president does not agree.
Eh
Yeah.
bien, aussitôt, Madame von der Leyen a fait voter un budget global de 850 milliards d'euros. C'est exactement la somme demandée par Trump.
And Ursula von der Leyen, who is the president of the European Commission, has put to vote an 800 billion plan for armament in Europe, which is exactly the sum that was asked by Donald Trump.
Nous sommes même autorisés à faire des nouvelles dettes
We are even authorized to do new debts
pour
for
acheter
this,
des armes.
to buy arms.
Yeah.
Alors, est-ce que vous vous rendez compte le cynisme, la brutalité de ça?
This is very cynical, very brutal.
On ne peut pas faire de dettes ou avoir de l'argent pour l'éducation, pour la santé, pour les arts, pour la culture, mais pour des armes, oui, et beaucoup, beaucoup, beaucoup d'argent.
We are not authorized to make new public debts for healthcare, for education, for culture, for arts, but for arms, yes, and we are authorized to spend a lot of money.
C'est pourquoi vous avez raison, les Européens sont déjà prêts à obéir. Mais ils vont se laisser entraîner dans un affrontement avec la Chine qui n'a pas de sens, parce que le futur, c'est de discuter avec les Chinois, d'avoir un accord avec eux, de négocier. Ça n'a pas de sens de s'opposer à la première nation productive du monde dans un choc militaire. Ça n'a pas de sens. Pourquoi est-ce qu'on va faire ça? Pourquoi? Quel est le problème avec la Chine? Monsieur Trump vient et il se comporte d'une manière incroyable. Il dit, vous allez nous acheter davantage. On croyait que c'était le libre marché. D'où il a eu l'idée qu'il va nous obliger à acheter quelque chose, des Américains. Mais qu'est-ce que vous produisez qu'on peut vous acheter à part des armes?
But you're absolutely right that the European leaders are already ready to obey. They are going to let them be thrown in an opposition with China that doesn't have any sense for Europe. For Europe, the future is rather to negotiate, to reach a deal with China, because China is the first productive power. So a military opposition with them just doesn't have any sense for Europeans. Donald Trump wants to to force us to buy stuff from America. But wasn't America for free trade and free competition? And what does America produce that we can buy? Like
Guns.
Guns, yeah.
And salmonella chicken.
Et des poulets à la salmonelle.
Yeah. Salmonella chicken, guns, and hormone beef.
Et
That's
du
it.
bœuf aux hormones.
Oui, exactement. Mais c'est lui qui le dit. Hein. Vous n'allez pas pouvoir revenir aux États-Unis, vous.
he says you won't be able to go back to the USA, maybe.
Trump will send you to Guantanamo.
We shall see. That is actually a real worry. They have started detaining American citizens as well at the border. I'm an American citizen, but they look through your phone and everything. We don't have a constitution before you enter the border. So that's a real fear that I have right now as I return tomorrow to the country.
En fait, c'est vraiment une inquiétude qu'ils ont parce qu'ils ont commencé maintenant, ce qui est exceptionnel, à détenir des citoyens américains aussi à la frontière, à fouiller leur téléphone et leur matériel électronique parce que, en gros, ils ont utilisé l'argument que même les citoyens américains, comme lui qui est citoyen américain, n'ont pas leur droit constitutionnel avant de traverser la frontière, donc ils peuvent. Donc c'est en fait une inquiétude qu'il a pour.
They're gonna see this in my bag and say radical.
Ils vont voir ça dans son sac, ils vont dire radical.
Mais quand nous avons été à New York, ça nous a beaucoup impressionné. Moi, j'avais l'impression de me retrouver dans un petit peu, vous voyez, plus ou moins l'ambiance de l'URSS avant. Les gens, des Français, avaient peur de venir aux réunions où je me trouvais. Et ils nous ont envoyé des messages pour dire nous avons peur d'être expulsés ou d'être arrêtés, nous ne venons pas, mais nous vous aimons beaucoup. Mais jamais je n'aurais imaginé voir une chose pareille aux États-Unis d'Amérique. Jamais.
I was very impressed in New York. It reminded me a bit, not entirely, but a bit of the atmosphere that were in USSR actually, because like when we did like a meeting with French from France Insoumise living in New York, there were a lot of people that were afraid to come, French people that were afraid to come, that sent us message to say that they wouldn't be attending because they were afraid of being spotted and then detained and deported, etc.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's a very real thing. 1,700 students had their visas revoked for protesting against Israel or for other erroneous reasons like parking tickets. But very incompetently, a lot of those visas were restored immediately afterwards.
1,700. 1700 visas, ils ont révoqué quand même d'étudiants à cause d'activités dans le mouvement pro-Palestine ou pour des faux motifs comme des trucs de parking, des contraventions parking.
D'accord. Oui, mais dans toutes les dictatures, c'est comme ça que ça se passe. Hein. Ça paraît très curieux. Enfin bon, bref, ok, oui. C'est tragique de voir ça. C'est tragique.
It's very tragic to see this.
Yeah. Et vous savez, quand on parlait avec les Canadiens, dis-lui ça, les gens étaient scandalisés de voir que personne ne réagissait à la menace d'agression.
When we spoke with the Canadians, people were really outraged to see that nobody was really reacting to the threats of invasion of Canada.
Yeah.
Et quand M. Trump dit qu'il veut faire intervenir l'armée au Mexique, l'armée américaine au Mexique, c'est incroyable. Je crois qu'il n'a jamais lu un livre d'histoire.
When Mr. Trump says that he wants the U.S. Army to intervene on Mexican soil, it's really incredible. I think he never read any storybook.
Peut-être qu'il ne sait pas que les États-Unis ont déjà volé la moitié du Mexique.
Maybe he doesn't know that the USA already stole half of Mexican territory.
Et les gens sont comme ça, de rage.
And people are really enraged in Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah, America's become a belligerent bully on the global stage. And one thing I always try to stress, because people will say, Hasan, you're anti-American. And the thing that I always try to explain to them is that there is a different way, there is an alternative, and that all of this war and destruction is not even beneficial for the American working class. Even if it was, it still would be immoral and abhorrent. But on top of that, it's simply profit-seeking for the sake of profit-seeking for owners of capital, rather than any sort of redistributive policies that end up making its way to some of the poorest aspects of American society. And I feel like a similar structure here in France is also ever present.
Oui, c'est vrai que donc, les États-Unis sont devenus encore plus une puissance belligérante, agressive au niveau global. Et souvent, pour répondre aux gens qui me disent Hasan, tu es anti-américain, je leur dis Non, mais il y aurait une alternative à ça. C'est pas la seule façon d'être américain. Toute cette guerre et cette destruction, en plus, ne profitent même pas à la classe ouvrière américaine. Je veux dire, même si ça profitait à la classe ouvrière américaine, ce serait toujours immoral. Mais en plus de ça, tout est aspiré pour de profit de certains capitalistes et rien ne revient dans une redistribution dans la société américaine.
Mais c'est insupportable comme accusation. Parce que moi non plus, je ne suis pas anti-américain, ça n'a pas de sens. J'aime la littérature américaine et je me suis formé mon esprit en lisant de grands auteurs nord-américains. Bon, je regardais du cinéma américain, je connais des personnes et je suis sûr que les États-Unis d'Amérique, c'est pas Monsieur Trump et tous ses clones, et 400 millions de clones de Trump, nous le savons. Mais il n'y a pas de voix. On n'entend pas quelqu'un, un Américain, dire « Écoutez, nous n'avons rien à voir avec tout ça. Nous respectons le Danemark, nous respectons le Canada, nous respectons le Mexique. Nous n'avons pas l'intention d'obliger les Européens à nous acheter quoi que ce soit. » Une parole libre ça nous rassurerait, ça nous ferait du bien, et en même temps, ça faciliterait l'internationalisme. Mais vu de loin, on a l'impression que aux États-Unis, il y a Monsieur Trump, quelque part des gens qui ne sont pas tout à fait d'accord, mais c'est tout. Et on ne sait pas pourquoi. On ne sait pas pourquoi. Ça, c'est insupportable. C'est comme si on est contre M. Netanyahou, donc on est antisémite. Si on est contre M. Trump, alors on est anti-américain. C'est une simplification grossière qui empêche de penser.
Yeah, it's not acceptable, this kind of accusation. Me neither, actually. I'm not an anti-American. I love American literature, for example. In my youth, I constructed myself with some great American writers. I saw, of course, American cinema. I know American people. I'm not anti-American. I know that in America it's not Trump and 400 million clones of him. But the problem is that there is no powerful enough voice that says something alternative to Trump, that says that we don't have anything to do with this. We respect Denmark, we respect Mexico, we respect Canada. We don't want to force anything on Europe. And if there was such a very powerful voice that said that, it would be easier for also internationalist ties to create. Because from our perspective far away, it seems like there is Mr. Trump, and somewhere in the landscape, in the corner, there are people that don't agree with Trump, but we don't know really why. There is no powerful voice enough.
Mais les dirigeants de la gauche radicale aux États-Unis devraient s'emparer de ces questions. Il faut qu'il y ait une autre voix des États-Unis. Nous avons compris que la voix de M. Macron affaiblissait la France et donnait de nous une image terrible. Je suis allé, on a donc tiré la conclusion de ça. Je suis allé au Liban avant l'invasion de M. Netanyahou. Je suis allé en République démocratique du Congo au moment de l'invasion par le Rwanda. Et ainsi de suite. Là, je suis allé au Canada, qui est menacé par les États-Unis d'Amérique. Chaque fois pour dire, la France, c'est nous aussi. Il y a une autre France. Eh bien, c'est ça qui manque des États-Unis d'Amérique. Ça donnerait une force énorme de savoir qu'il y a une force aux États-Unis qui s'intéresse aux autres et qui est capable de nous appeler à des actions communes. Mais on a l'impression... Vous savez, je vous parle bien franchement. Attends, note bien ça maintenant que je lui dis. Le danger pour les États-Unis, c'est comme l'Italie. C'est que vous n'ayez plus de gauche. Plus de gauche. Tout d'un coup, il y a la droite ou bien la moitié de la droite. Point final. Parce que vous êtes un très grand pays, très étendu. Il faut beaucoup d'argent pour faire de la politique chez vous. Beaucoup, beaucoup, beaucoup d'argent. Et votre système médiatique, qui est plus libre que le nôtre, joue le jeu des milliardaires aussi. Donc nous sommes très inquiets, pas seulement de M. Trump, de ce qui peut arriver aux États-Unis.
The leaders of the radical left in the USA should do this. They should talk about these issues. They should install themselves as another voice for the USA. We in France, we thought that the voice of Macron actually weakened France internationally. So that's why we took action. I went in Lebanon just before the invasion of Netanyahu. I went in the Democratic Republic of Congo just before the invasion of Rwanda. I went in Canada that was threatened, also in Mexico. And that was to say that France, it's not only Macron. France is also us. There is another France. And I really think that what's missing us is that kind of voice in the USA, another voice in the USA. It would give so much strength to everybody to have this kind of force that could call us to action in regard to what's doing Mr. Trump. Honestly, I'm speaking to you honestly. What I'm fearing also for the USA is what happened in Italy, in Europe, for example, which is that the left is completely erased of the scene. And one day you're waking in, there is only right versus far right, and there is no more left. It has been all eradicated. And I'm very worried that this would happen in the USA because it is such a big country, a country where you need a lot of money to do politics, with a media system that, even if it's, I think, not as bad as ours in France, it's also aligned on billionaires' interest. And I really have a concern for your country, not only in regard to Trump, but also in regard to this.
I think our media is worse, but I don't know.
Je pense que leur système médiatique est pire.
Ah. Oui, pourtant il m'interviewe et pas... Non, rien, laisse tomber. Worst?
Well, I think ours is worse. Our media.
Yo.
I'm not mainstream. I'm talking about like mainstream resources.
Lui, il n'est pas un média mainstream, il parle des médias mainstream qui
oui, d'accord. Non, j'ai compris.
I think our mainstream media plays a very good role of neutering any public discourse about foreign policy, which is laughable when we're the United States of America and we have 800 military bases. So basically, foreign policy is domestic policy. And I try to work actively to get people educated on this, to understand the dynamic that each dollar that's spent on bombs could actually be spent on building schools or building roads in the country. And I try to explain to people the reason why you have no social services, the reason why your limited amount of social safety nets that you get are diminishing rapidly, is directly because we are spending all of the wealth that we have and dumping it back into the military-industrial complex. But our media plays a very big role in never talking about it from that front and only talking about foreign policy as it necessitates more and more war. For the liberals, they'll say, oh, we're bombing them because they're homophobic. We're bombing them because they hate women. For the Republicans, they don't really need to say much. They just say, we're bombing them and you're excited. And while Americans see themselves as anti-war, and even Trump ran as an anti-war candidate as opposed to Kamala Harris to some success, saying he was going to end these conflicts, ultimately, Americans still go back to the same form of, bomb everyone, who cares, it's all good.
Les médias aux États-Unis, ils font un très bon travail pour couvrir, neutraliser et cacher toutes les questions de politique internationale, ce qui est complètement incroyable, puisque nous sommes un pays qui a 800 bases militaires dans le monde. Donc en fait, pour nous, la politique internationale, c'est comme si c'était de la politique intérieure. Donc moi, j'essaye d'éduquer les gens par rapport à ça, d'expliquer aussi que la raison pour laquelle il n'y a aucune redistribution, la raison pour laquelle tous leurs filets sociaux, le peu qu'ils ont, diminuent, c'est parce que toutes les richesses des États-Unis sont jetées dans le complexe militaro-industriel. Et donc les médias mainstream aux États-Unis, où ils font ce travail pour qu'on ne parle jamais de politique étrangère. Mais tout le monde sinon est d'accord. Par exemple, le centre-gauche, le Parti démocrate, ils vont eux dire si on balance des bombes sur les gens, c'est parce qu'ils sont homophobes et qu'ils n'aiment pas les femmes. Les républicains, eux, n'ont pas besoin de dire grand-chose. Ils disent on balance des bombes sur les gens et c'est juste super excitant. Même Trump, qui a fait campagne sur un truc anti-guerre, en fait, revient au truc classique américain où on bombarde tout le monde.
Also, do you guys want water?
On arrive au bout ou pas là?
Ouais, je pense.
On arrive au bout? Qu'est-ce qu'il va faire là?
Il demande si on veut de l'eau.
Ouais,
Should we wrap it up?
Oh, I mean, we can. It's up to you guys. But do you want water? I have whatever they gave me in this room. I think this is a soda or something.
Oh yeah, that's sparkling.
Sparkling or still
That's
water?
still.
Qu'est-ce que c'est
I
ça?
should have
C'est de
asked
l'eau.
from the
Ça
start.
c'est de l'eau
Non,
pétillante
non,
et ça
moi
c'est
je
de
veux
l'eau.
de cette eau-là.
I should have asked from the beginning. And we got fruits as well if you want some fruits. Do you know what this is?
Est-ce que tu sais ce que c'est?
It's the Trump. It's a Zin.
Ah ouais, ouais. Quand il a pris une balle dans l'oreille,
Ouais.
non? Non?
Yeah, when he got shot.
Ah ouais, ok.
Ah, ok.
Ouais.
The Zin tin. This is. Do you know what a Zin is?
No.
These are like snus,
Nous, what is this?
nicotine pouches.
Ah, c'est des trucs de nicotine.
Yeah. I don't know. You smoke?
Non.
Non.
No. Oh, a Frenchman who doesn't
Un
smoke.
Français qui ne fume pas. Ça y est.
Wow. First time.
Et nous avons fait une boîte comme ça. Lui, on a fait une boîte comme ça.
We did a small box that looked like this.
Et dans les discussions politiques avec la droite, dans les polémiques,
In political fight with the right.
on renverse la boîte comme ça. Et ça fait Venezuela.
We just okay.
What?
We tipped we have a box that we can tip like this and does like I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of the moo box, like the box that you give children. You did
Oh,
this
yeah, and it makes
does
a
like
noise,
a cow,
yeah.
like moo.
Uh-huh.
And we did such a box that says Venezuela because like the right was also.
That's what they always. That's what they say in America too.
Really?
Yeah.
Aux
You
États-Unis
too?
aussi.
That's
Ah
what they
ouais.
say in America as well. They say Venezuela whenever they used to say that. They used to say, "Oh, you want this to be just like Venezuela? Do you want water?"
Ouais, moi je veux bien.
There you
Ouais.
go.
Vas-y, donne un verre. Ah ben
Oh,
c'est
vas-y.
celui-là. Ok, santé camarade.
Cheers.
Salut les copains.
Yeah, we have fruits as well if you want some.
Il y a des fruits aussi si t'en
C'est
veux.
bon.
The
That's okay.
hotel.
On nous attend à la maison avec des repas copieux.
We have like big meals waiting for us. at
Okay.
home.
All right. Well, I don't want to keep you guys any more than all the time that you've given us. So thank you so much. This was a wonderful experience, and it was very enlightening. And I think a lot of people watching in America at home are going to develop a better appreciation, and hopefully start the first steps in developing international solidarity.
Il
Merci
dit que les gens
beaucoup.
sont là, ils nous remercient.
Il nous remercie.
Et
Il
il pense
dit
que ça aide
faut-
les gens à comprendre.
les gens à comprendre et peut-être à faire les premiers pas pour développer cette solidarité internationale.
Et nous, on est impressionnés de voir des gens qui résistent, comme lui.
We are very impressed to see people resisting like you.
Et une fois, je suis allé en Italie, à l'invitation d'un groupe qui s'appelle Potere al Popolo.
One time I was in Italy invited by a political group named Potere al Popolo.
Et ils m'ont dit, mais pourquoi tu viens Nous ne sommes pas sûrs de faire 2%.
And they said to me, why are you coming? We're not even sure that we are going to do the 2%.
Et j'ai dit, je viens pour que vous fassiez 2%.
And I said, I'm here so that you are able to reach 2%.
Et moi, je suis certain que s'il y avait aux États-Unis une force politique qui résiste frontalement, vous seriez très, 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 très nombreux. C'est pourquoi des gens comme vous et votre émission sont si importants. Parce que il faut qu'il y ait un point de départ, il faut qu'il y ait des points d'appui. Il faut qu'il y ait des gens qui vous voient et qui disent « Ah, il est courageux, je veux faire comme lui ».
And I'm sure that in the USA, if you had a force that was really resisting and standing up, you would be very, very, very numerous. And that's why it's so important that there is people like you, that there is your show, because like people can see this and say, okay, I want to be like him, I want to think like him.
Yeah.
Bon courage.
It's not. I see myself as someone who tries to unlock people's potential in terms of class consciousness because I think a lot of Americans do have that feeling inside of them, but they have no outlet, they have no vehicle for it, because the supposed counterbalance against reactionary forces is the Democratic Party, and they're quite similar to Macron, just neoliberal cronies that don't express the real anger and resentment that working class Americans feel.
Je me vois comme quelqu'un qui essaye de déverrouiller cette conscience de classe, parce que je pense que chez beaucoup d'Américains, ces sentiments sont présents en eux d'un point de vue confus, mais qu'ils ne trouvent pas le véhicule pour les exprimer, puisque l'opposition aux réactionnaires est censée être le Parti démocrate, qui ne sont que des néolibéraux, donc une fausse opposition.
Mais vous verrez le rôle que vous êtes en train de jouer. Parce que c'est votre parole qui circule et elle donne du courage à des gens. Et un jour, le peuple américain n'est pas inerte. Et un jour, il va se mettre en mouvement. C'est sûr.
You'll see the role that you're playing, because your word, your show is circulating among people, and one day the American people is gonna wake up and be on the move.
Et ils penseront, grâce à vos mots et à votre émission, et à d'autres choses sans doute, mais ils vont utiliser votre manière de dire les choses. Vous verrez.
And when that day comes, the people will be able to think thanks to your words, and others, of course, but you'll see.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Jean-Luc Mélenchon. Antoine, thank you so much for translating. That was incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, it was crazy. He was just fast. And thank you so much for coming, guys. This was wonderful. I am going to, of course, go back to the regular stuff right now after I let them leave. So be on the lookout, chat. We're not done yet.
Il va continuer, c'est ça?
Il annonce à son chat qu'il va continuer le truc normal.
Au revoir, merci beaucoup. À bientôt.
Thank you for everything. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go for your bag.
Yeah.
Oh, can we take a photo?
Yeah. Est-ce qu'il veut, tu peux prendre une photo?
Ouais, bien sûr. Et toi, viens vite faire la photo aussi.
Here. And then, yeah, with that as well. Of course.
Est-ce qu'on se met à côté de sa caméra?
No, it doesn't show, right?
No.
Okay, this is fine, right? All right.
Thank you.
On a nous aussi?
Ouais.
Good?
Bon courage, au revoir.
Bye.
All right, bye, guys. Okay. Opa. I'm gonna fix everything. 1 second, I know. Hold on. Whew. Wow. What an experience, huh? Exhilarating. Did you guys like that? Let me lower the game real quick. Let me put the noise gate back on. Boom. Okay. That is that's it. We conducted it. Why are you out of breath? I'm not. Best interview yet? Yeah, it's actually, who would have thought? It's actually a great limiter when I am not allowed to talk. Because of the the barrier between myself and my interviewee, my interview subject. The leaving your seat mid-conversation was slightly good, but a good job overall. Yeah, okay, listen, calm down, okay? Huang Eta, thank you for the, whoa, what the hell? Thank you for the 100 gifted. Absolutely fantastic conversation. If ever there was a moment where your detractors' words started to become too loud, everyone should remember a moment like this. One of the most prominent voices in French politics outwardly telling you that you're the first American who speaks sense. Yeah, I hope that one day I'm not the only American who speaks sense. I hope that one day there are voices by the thousands similar to mine. He kept saying, he kept saying incredible, unbelievable. Did they take some fruit home with them? No, they did not. I forgot to blast off, by the way, which is crazy. India, Pakistan, so much more. Get in now. You need a Mélenchon in the US? Yeah. I covered almost all the stuff that I wanted to get to. I need to see it. I need to send it over. When will it be ready? Thank you, Hasan. Hopefully soon. Translator was amazing. I don't know how you remembered all the long replies. Yeah, the problem is both Mélenchon and myself love to ramble a little bit. We are both big time yappers. So it's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy to translate for either of us. Let's be real. Isn't it like 11 p.m. over there? No, it's not. It's only 9. We love yapping. That was incredible. That was really good. I'm actually very happy with my performance. I'm not gonna lie. Most important question I took away from this on this historic day: will the slander of the French end on the HasanAbi broadcast? Yes. All right, we're gonna move on to regular news now. How do you prepare for jet lag? I don't. I just white knuckle through it. Mélenchon called the USA a dictatorship after you hearing describe it. Congrats on being recognized as the first normal American in both France and China. Lamont, I know. Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's keep going. There's more. Do we have a blast off meme? I can't believe I'm asking 2 hours into the fucking broadcast, but. The French won me over. There's a lot we can learn from them. Oh yeah. This is so stupid. This meme is so dumb. My biggest error was I didn't actually reframe the camera, and I should have. Depth of field's a bit shallow. You keep going out of focus when you sit back. Am I? All right, we blasted off. You should interview Rima Hasan, our most prominent voice in Palestine and France. I think she speaks English. Well, I'm leaving, so this time I can't. I already missed it. I already blasted off. Here it is, chat. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Have you had the steak? I've only had steak. I've literally only had steak every single day. I have not had anything but steak. Entrecôte, entrecôte, entrecôte. That's all I've been eating. The Macy's, thank you for the playlist. Look at the pinned comment. Have you met Squeezy once again? Yeah, I hung out with him earlier today. It was great. I know. I saw the D-Link shit. I forgot to talk about that. Okay, we're gonna move into the news. The news. You popping off on Bilibili 4 years ago. Twitch's 3 most beautiful people. That doesn't count. It also is quoted. It used to be when you went on strike, you knew where the boss lived. Went so goddamn hard, it should be on merch. Yeah. Global capital, baby. Finance capital. All right. Let's start here. When is the Mélenchon interview? Okay, shut up, Vorlo. It's not funny. Don't even start with me on this shit, okay? Chatters.
Ooh. The day started with a moment of intense jeopardy. 2 foes on the cusp of all-out conflict and the sharpest escalation in tensions yet. But it ended with the promise of a ceasefire announced by the US President Donald Trump on Truth Social. After a long night of talks mediated by the United States, he said, "I'm pleased to announce that India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire. Congratulations to both countries on using common sense and great intelligence. Thank you for your attention to this matter."
He just came in and was like, all right, enough, cut it out. Apparently it hasn't been working though, so I don't know about that.
The world has watched on as 2 enemies spent days engaging in tit-for-tat warfare. Damage inflicted on both sides of the border. But they've chosen to step back from a collision course that could have spiraled into a 4th war.
It was agreed between them that both sides would stop all firing and military action on land and in the air and sea with effect from 1700 hours Indian Standard Time today.
America is claiming a pivotal role in this truce. Whatever got these 2 nuclear neighbors here, it is the off-ramp so many were hoping for. Mohammed Aslam has been here before. The 76-year-old has lived through 2 wars here on the border with India in Punjab province. I know where all the bunkers are, he tells me. He used to carry weapons for the military. Before news of a peace deal broke, he was upbeat but defiant.
Do you think there's any way Pakistan wins this moment? And if so, what does victory look like?
I believe there won't be a war, but if there is, Pakistan will win. Muslims never lose. We always win. We don't fight with power. We fight with faith.
The early morning missiles and chest-thumping rhetoric had many here expecting more was to come.
Historically, this border town of Badipur acted as a first line of defense for Pakistan. India is just 5 kilometers away behind me. But the conflict looks different now. It's being fought from the air, not the ground. And India and Pakistan have walked into troubling new territory.
It is territory they found a way out of, though. And for now, both are able to claim victory and project pride. But if they don't solve the issue of Kashmir, they could easily slip back to square one. Cordelia Lynch, Sky News, Badipur, Pakistan.
I'm from Pakistan. We made India go running to USA in 12 hours. Oh man. I mean, you know, if the nuclear threat, if the nuclear threat is terrifying, at least we can have some funny memes along the way. You know what I mean? Pakistan.
Pakistani missiles
Zindabad.
fired towards India. Soldiers cheer. But this has been the most worrying eruption of violence in South Asia in decades. Pakistan released footage of its jets targeting, it said, Indian air bases in retaliation for earlier Indian strikes on its territory.
Bro, Pakistan only achieved victory in this because Turkey was backing it, okay? We are at the table. Just kidding. We are the table. Once again, as always, Turkey is at the table. Turkey is the table. Turkey is all of it. You understand? Important, is India still lying too? Yes, India is still lying as well. Yeah, also India knows Turkey's at the table. That's why they said, we will nuke the table if need be. Modi got nothing against the Pakistan army. No. The slow motion cat acrobatics is crazy. This is wild. I'm not following. Can you explain? Pakistan. Get it? Like the cat's paw. What can't you understand? Pakistan is Turk. Why else would they have Stan in their name? Okay, but we also say Hindustan in Turkish. So India technically also is a Stan country in Turkish.
In Jammu.
Was the cat with the two lightsabers real? I think so. Yeah. No, all of the videos that we just watched were real. Like all of them, every single one.
Indian-administered Kashmir, officials say 5 people were killed. There were deaths too on the Pakistani-controlled side of the disputed territory. And this was an Indian missile targeting the Pakistani Noor Khan airbase in Rawalpindi last night. Today, both sides have been making claim and counterclaim about the level of damage they've managed to inflict on each other's military. As residents on both sides of the border collected the remnants of drones and missiles, officials signalled they were looking to de-escalate. With diplomatic efforts intensifying, President Trump was the first to announce a ceasefire, followed by the Pakistani and Indian governments.
The Director General of Military Operations of Pakistan called the Director General of Military Operations of India. It was agreed between them that both sides would stop all firing and military action on land and in the air and sea with effect from 1700 hours Indian Standard Time today.
The crisis followed a familiar pattern, beginning with an attack by militants in Indian-administered Kashmir. India blamed Pakistan. Pakistan denied involvement. Earlier this week, India launched a barrage of missiles into Pakistan, it said targeting militants. Pakistan says only civilians were killed. What's different now is just how much further into each other's territory both sides are willing to strike. With tensions so high, can a ceasefire lead to wider dialogue?
It's been many years now since there's any kind of substantive talks between Pakistan and India. Is this now a chance to pick that up?
Well, I think this escalation definitely provides a light at the end of the tunnel. And clearly there's been many issues that have been pending and unresolved for years and decades now. So we see it as an opportunity because it's a big win for Pakistan. Pakistan didn't flinch, didn't fold.
On the streets of Islamabad this afternoon, there were celebrations following the ceasefire announcement. But Indians too are claiming victory and to have emerged with the upper hand. These two countries emerged out of bloodshed, and genuine peace looks as elusive as ever.
Well, this ceasefire...
This is so funny because, like, anytime anything happens, half of the chat is saying Pakistan violated the ceasefire, look it up. Or India broke the ceasefire just now, look it up. It seems to me like you can't have a ceasefire if both sides are not interested in ceasing fire. All good? Yeah, no, I was ordering room service. I'm hungry. There has been a possible violation of ceasefire today. India has claimed it. Pakistan has denied it. India's press briefing has called for a de-escalation, and the bilateral talks scheduled for 12th of May have not yet been called off yet. If the talks are called off, we will have reason to worry.
Looking extremely shaky and fragile, and the situation seems very fluid. When it comes to the missile attacks we were talking about in that report, I think India will believe that they have sent a strong signal to Pakistan that any militant attacks in India will be treated, in Kashmir I should say, will be treated as effectively an act of war and responded to in this very aggressive fashion. Pakistan will believe that they've established a strong deterrence to what it sees as unwarranted Indian aggression. I think one real danger is that even if this ceasefire holds, a new baseline for the level of attacks the countries are willing to carry out against each other has now been set. And that means that any leaders in a future flare-up would find it very difficult to do less than what we've already witnessed.
And with that backdrop, what prospect is there for dialogue between the two sides?
Well, Kathy, you might remember at the beginning of this crisis, India suspended a key water-sharing treaty.
How was French food? Someone asked. Let me tell you, banger after banger. It's like, it's unacceptably good. It's kind of fucked up how good it is. French food is disgustingly good. Straight up. Messed up.
With Pakistan. According to Indian sources, that remains suspended, so potentially there could be some talks around that. It's certainly a crucial issue for Pakistan, but an overall improvement in the relationship looks very tricky. And one key thing to remember is that the leaders of both of these countries are hardliners. General Asim Munir, the army chief in Pakistan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in India, both of them see their neighbouring country as their own primary enemy.
Just before we came on air, I spoke to Dr. Mohammed Faisal, Pakistan's High Commissioner to the UK, and began by asking, with reports of attacks in Kashmir, whether this ceasefire was dead on arrival.
I'm not sure. I haven't verified the information. There is some news coming in. I saw it on the social media just before coming into this interview. But detail, I would definitely want us to wait before we have some authentic information on both sides, because the ceasefire is quite precious and it has been arrived at after a lot of effort. So we should not jump to any conclusion, my suggestion would be.
Would you condemn any militant attack in Kashmir?
It is a presumptuous question. If it happens, we can take it to there. If it is a pure terrorist attack, we have always condemned it. Pakistan condemns terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, and has done so for the last 30 years.
Presumably you'd call on both sides to keep this ceasefire and for proper peace talks to take place?
Yes. Pakistan wants it to continue and for peace talks to take place, to go to the bottom of the problem. Whether we like it or not, the bottom of the problem is not just terrorism. It is the Jammu and Kashmir dispute, which is there for 78 years, and it has to be resolved as per the UN Security Council resolutions, which India, of course, agreed to and Pakistan agreed to. 78 years have passed, and a democratic solution in which you ask the people of Jammu and Kashmir is not happening. That is the root cause. And if we address the root cause, the rest of the problems will automatically resolve.
Let's talk about what prompted this latest round of violence between India and Pakistan. And of course, Pakistan denies involvement in last month's terrorist attacks. But would you accept that your country needs to do more to tackle terrorism in its midst?
Terrorism is a problem that has plagued the region. Pakistan is one of the biggest victims. You would remember on 25th of March this year, a whole train was hijacked, which is stuff for novels and films. And our forces had to fight and get it released. And I can quote hundreds of incidents, including the Samjhauta Express train, which was attacked, and there are serious allegations on India that they were involved in the train attack. So, of course, problems are there, but we have to, see it in a larger perspective. For Pahalgam, an international inquiry can look into it and ascertain the facts, and we can move forward. Otherwise, it's counter-allegations, counter-allegations. How do we move forward?
Well, let me give you another example, and that's Masood Azhar, who's founder of Jaish-e-Mohammed. Wasn't India entitled to attack a terrorist camp run by that group? You know, India targeted a terrorist camp run by that group. They were entitled to do so, weren't they?
No, nobody is entitled to be judged. Would you let somebody target a camp in Britain? No, nobody can. You can't be judge, jury and executioner. You have to verify it. There are police, there is a judicial system, there is an first information report. Do you want countries to start doing that? In Europe also, that if
he ain't wrong.
They feel that there is something and they're going to attack. And by the way, the Indians targeted 3 mosques.
That is heavily disputed.
And we deny that.
But let me just pick you up on Jaish-e-Mohammed.
This is important. Sorry, this is important. They deny it. Fine. Then let's have the international inquiry. Why are they shirking from the inquiry? If they are so sure that Pakistan is doing it, let an independent inquiry happen and let them verify.
But I also wonder if you accept that you should do more to tackle people like Masood Azhar, who, when the camp was attacked, he put out a statement saying 14 of his family members were killed. And
no, he did not. This is all propaganda. There is no such statement. There is no such verification. Please do verify the facts.
Also, that's his family members. It ain't him. That makes no sense. Like, even if they literally killed the dude's family members, like, okay. Like, that makes no sense. That argument is so... Stop chewing in my ears. I will not.
Before you move forward into it, there is a lot of propaganda coming out of India.
From both sides.
It has to be verified, as I said.
And there's a lot of misinformation from both sides.
We are open for an inquiry. Day before yesterday night, the Indians claimed that they had captured Lahore, they have captured Karachi, half of Pakistan is gone. My army chief has either resigned or Prime Minister has resigned or put under... This is the propaganda. This is day before yesterday. Where is the propaganda coming out of Pakistan that the Indian Prime Minister has resigned?
Okay, Dr. Mohammed Faisal, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
India has accused Pakistan of violating a ceasefire deal just hours after it was announced. The internationally mediated agreement is meant to stop a dangerous escalation in fighting, which has killed more than 60 people since Wednesday. Explosions have been reported in several cities across Indian-administered Kashmir. India's foreign secretary has called on Pakistan to stop the violations and says Indian armed forces are responding. Pakistan hasn't yet commented.
There have been repeated violations of the understanding arrived at earlier this evening between the Directors General of Military Operations of India and Pakistan. This is a breach of the understanding arrived at earlier today. The armed forces are giving an adequate and appropriate response to these violations, and we take very, very serious notice of these violations. We call upon Pakistan to take appropriate steps to address these violations and deal with the situation with seriousness and responsibility.
Let's bring in Kulsoom Sharif. She is joining us on the phone from New Delhi. It's not a good start to the ceasefire, Kulsoom, with the Foreign Secretary making that statement less than 6 hours after he announced a ceasefire.
Well, absolutely. Those celebrations that we were talking about, people welcoming the ceasefire, have been pretty much very short-lived. Right after that sudden announcement by U.S. President Donald Trump on Truth Social saying that India and Pakistan have agreed to a ceasefire, also congratulating the two countries for taking this step. We've heard of these explosions, particularly in Jammu and Srinagar. The Chief Minister, Omar Abdullah, took to Twitter saying that there are explosions. What happened to the ceasefire? And now India's top diplomat has said the armed forces have been holding a strong vigil and they've been asked to respond appropriately to the violations. Now, India is accusing Pakistan of causing these violations. Well, remember, for the people in the border areas, tonight then is no different from what has happened in the past couple of nights. And except that there was supposed to be a ceasefire in place.
And Kulsoom, it's a very confusing picture. What reactions are you seeing from India to these developments?
So when we were out and we were speaking to people about how they respond to this ceasefire, many of them were very happy and they thought it was the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi that actually got the ceasefire in place. There are some others who are not happy that India did not take strong enough action, and there are others who said that finally peace should prevail and they're happy. We spoke to some traders who are happy that it would be business as usual. People who, for all these airports that would have been shut until May 15, they're hoping they would open up. There was a sense of optimism, but also, I think, cautious optimism, because people were wondering whether the ceasefire will hold. And across the region, when we're talking about ceasefire, the first thing is celebration, and then people have doubts whether the ceasefires will really hold. So the official reaction is what we've got from India's top diplomat, and we've also had Chief Minister Omar Abdullah already saying that what happened to the ceasefire just hours after what it was supposed to be in place.
That is Kulsoom Sharif joining us on the phone from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Kulsoom. We're going to bring in Osama bin Javed. He's joined.
Bro, I love you, man. Why are you so one-sided? By the way, India's planning to BDS Turkey tourism. This has been the major point of contention in my stream this morning. Tons of Indians coming into my chat saying Pakistan violated the ceasefire agreement.
Joining us live from
Indians, don't forget, I'm in America. Please don't BDS me.
Lahore, and I've seen over the last 2 hours or so conflicting reports on this from Pakistan. Osama, tell us what you're hearing.
Well, Elizabeth, as we were just discussing a couple of hours ago, that this is a precarious ceasefire. This is a ceasefire on a line of control which has been aflame for the last few days. So it will take time for it to take effect. And especially in the contested Kashmir region, where the postures has been declared to be on a standoffish position by both of the militaries, it will take time for them to climb down that ladder. So what we're seeing here is actually more or less the same, which is being reported by local sources on both sides. We've been speaking to our correspondent Omar there, who's been reporting about what on the Indian side, villagers are reporting that there has been cross-border shelling from the Pakistani side. And here, we're hearing exactly the same.
I'm losing my mind, bro. First, they cover what? You literally call billions of Indians fascists in your latest video. How do you get to play victim or racism card? What? When did I do that? I was joking when I said, Indians, remember, I'm an American, not Turkish. Don't BDS me. I wasn't being sincere. And no, I didn't say billions of Indians are fascist. What the fuck?
I apologize. We have lost our connection with our correspondent, Osama bin Javed, in Lahore, Pakistan. But just one bit of news from Pakistan. I believe we do have Osama. Osama, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, Osama, I was just about to say that we are seeing, it's being reported that Pakistan's information minister has told local media that as of now, there hasn't been any ceasefire violations.
The new drama bait talking point is that you called India a fascist terrorist state, so now you think they're all terrorists? Okay. No, I didn't even say that. I said any state that without... first of all, Modi is fascist. Okay? Modi is a fucking fascist. When did we all of a sudden forget that he's a fascist? Like, how did that happen? Okay? This isn't to, like, defend the Pakistan government at all. I'm not in the business of doing that. Why the fuck would I do that? I feel like it's a pure expression of American interest in general, especially the Pakistani intelligence, which is, you know, a holdover for CIA activity in the region, many of which has contributed to terror in the region, as a matter of fact. Now, having said that, Modi is a fucking fascist. Like that, 10 toes down. If you have issues with that, you can suck my dick, okay? I didn't say India is a fascist state. I said India is behaving like a rogue terrorist state, and that is also correct. Because attacking another sovereign nation without evidence, without like clear-cut collaboration with said sovereign nation is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You can't do that. Like, America is the only country that does that, and Israel is the only country by extension of America that gets to do that. And they shouldn't do it either. And they are also rogue terrorist states for doing such things. You can't keep saying, no, it's not. Pakistan started it, bro. Pakistan started it. It's not. You can't say that. This is fucking insane. Pakistan is the one who killed 26 innocent people. Am I missing something here? Oh, yes. What you're missing is evidence, okay? What you're missing is direct evidence. And also what you're missing is restraint. Evidence and restraint. Evidence and restraint. Like I'm never post 9/11 in the United States of America. I mean, I was not here yet, but I would have called for the same exact restraint that I'm doing here. If tomorrow there was a massive terror attack in the United States of America, I would call for restraint. I would call for an investigation and restraint. You want to know why? Because I have a moral position on this that is universal. You feel me? Some of you don't see it that way, and it's all right, okay? Well, I guess it's not all right. It's really fucked up that every country has now its own version of like, no, we got to do what we have to do. What the fuck is going on? Like, a day into the tit-for-tat bombing campaign cross-border, after India had not only hit into Pakistani-occupied Kashmir territory, but they were hitting inside of Pakistan in general. It was crazy. Without any evidence whatsoever. And when asked, like, do you have any evidence that this was Pakistan caused, like the Pahalgam attack was born out of Pakistan, they were like, we don't need evidence. I've never seen anything like it. That's the only time I've heard that shit is from like America or Israel, you know? What is going on? Every country is doing this now. It's really fucked up. Like, my perspective on this matter is entirely around trying to restore some sense of normalcy and global order to conflict. Okay? I'm not even making any fucking claims on one side or the other. Like, I'm not firmly on the Pakistani side nor the Indian one in this issue. I'm simply looking at the situation and saying, as an outsider, as an outside party going, this is fucked up. It is pretty messed up that two nuclear armed states can just engage in heated battle with one another like this. This is incredible to me. I feel like we are living in the post 9/11 world, but we're also living in the post October 7 world in a way where nation states are now just going to behave in a fucking belligerent manner. We're living in the post Ukraine world too, where like Russia just also as a foreign adversary showed the world like, yeah, you don't got much motion, big bro. We do what we want to do. And, you know, there's not really anything you could do about it. It's a little bit terrifying, if I do say so myself. Like, America had an exit ramp. You're acting like an ignorant centrist right now? No, I'm not. I'm not acting like an ignorant centrist. America had an exit ramp to basically say, no, we got to restore like the global community's confidence in international rule-based orders. And they just botched it with Israel. They were like, no, you could do whatever you want. What do you mean? You're our ally. So now get excited for more of these sorts of things happening all around the world. Very cool.
That's exactly what we were just discussing, that Pakistanis on this side of the border are saying that these border violations are happening by India, and Indian villages on the other side are saying it's happening because of Pakistan. And what we need to understand is that because there's forward postures that these positions have been taken, and there are areas, there are border posts across the line of control where there is a conflicting claim of ownership now, that Pakistanis are saying some posts, the Indians are saying they've captured some posts, and in the fog war it is unclear. So according to some officials that we've spoken to, they're telling us that it will take time and it will require patience on both sides. So Pakistan is adamant that it is not violating the ceasefire agreement, it is abiding by it. There is a Prime Minister's address that is due to take place sometime soon, and we're hearing from security officials that they want this to
BDS on Turkey because Turkish drones were found in Jammu and Kashmir on the Indian side. Yes, I know. I know. Turkey is the drone kings. I know that. Also, what do you mean? They are literally the drone gods. Turkey with the Bayraktars, like they've been sending them to Ukraine. Yeah, they are at the table. I'll take it one step further. From what I understand, Erdogan continued shipping drones in the process. Like, it's not like who knew DJI was Turk? No. You got Chinese drones for sure. But in terms of warfare, in terms of combat drones, like Turkey's got some pretty solid combat drones that are very affordable. It's Chinese rockets and Turkish drones.
De-escalation, and if India carries out another aggression, they'll be ready to respond.
Osama bin Javed joining us with the latest live in Lahore. Thank you, Osama. Let's bring in Mike Hanna. He's live for us in Washington, D.C. And Mike, I haven't seen any reaction to these latest developments from the U.S. Are you hearing anything there?
No reaction as yet from any in the Trump administration. The president himself is out playing golf, as he does on Saturdays and Sundays. We heard earlier the vice president, J.D. Vance, also putting out messages on social media, congratulating the Trump team for achieving the ceasefire, as he puts it, and in particular the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who appears to be playing a major role in what the U.S. says are its ongoing mediation events. Interesting to note that Rubio, in his social message earlier announcing the ceasefire, said that he was going to get these leaders of the opposing sides together in longer-term negotiations.
You melted my brain. I watched your India-Pakistan VOD. My family has extensive military background. You fucking reframed that diplomat interview for me. I started thinking I agree with Hasan and everything. Then why am I getting charged up now? Then the Raphael thing came up. Then I remember the Wire Haaretz type, which is very, very good journalism site, getting blocked because of this. And now I'm in an existential crisis. Was I made a fool out of? And BLA isn't talked at all in India. And when it comes to Kashmir, both sides want Kashmir, but no one wants the Kashmiris. It's really sad. Everything would be dialed up to 11 again after this. It's so funny that we are literally the same people with the same bubble culture destroying our countries, and yet we're fighting each other. Thanks, Brits, Jinnah, and RSS. But I can still recognize the fact that no amount of providing proof will solve anything. We did it like last time. And Indians don't advocate for the child soldiers as second line of defense in their parliament, but who knows what shit our state is up to. But am I wrong in saying that Pakistan is a U.S. Dirty Works client terrorist state? No, you're not wrong for saying that. I've said that. Also, Dave said that. The Pakistani defense minister literally went on Sky News and was like, who do you think, whose dirty work do you think we've been doing for the past fucking 30 years? Yeah. No, I understand that. And I think like the fundamentalist elements eventually, as 9/11 has shown, get out of control. They get out of hand. They have a tendency to take matters in their own fucking hands. But also, having said that, like, when it comes to the state level, when it comes to the way that states operate, like, states have to demonstrate restraint. States have to behave in a restrained manner. It's fucking crazy. You can't. What are we doing? I don't know. I don't know what to say about it that I haven't repeated over and over again over the past over the past couple of days, where everyone just yells at me, but I'm like, dude, you can't just start bombing another country. Like, what the fuck? And it's always wild when the response is like, well, what was India supposed to do? Like, they're fucking all terrorists, dude. They're all terrorists. It's like, well, not that, Like, it's crazy. Just search up how many terrorist attacks have happened in India in connection to Pakistan in the past 30 years, and then tell me how we should have India reacted after the terror attack in India and Kashmir. I already told you, okay? I already told you. 1126 is a decent analog here for how India should have reacted. Okay? You can't also fucking constantly go, dude, so many attacks of terror have happened, and it's all Pakistan. and just be like, this one's definitely also directed by the state. Like, there is a difference between like militancy forming within your nation state boundaries versus directing said militancy to do an act of terror inside of Indian administered, Indian controlled, Indian occupied Kashmir territory, or Kashmir territory that is receiving Hindu tourists. Like, that's like these distinctions are important, because unless you make this state connection, you can't, like, even after you make the state connection, you still can't fucking attack like this. Hold on, I gotta get my food.
At a neutral site. Now, there hasn't been any further developments in that, but clearly the US, whatever its role in all of this, contemplating a longer-term negotiation process to attempt to look at the very root causes of this recurring conflict. But the events of the last hour or so, no reaction from the Trump administration at this particular point.
Mike, we will come back to you if and when we do have that reaction.
I want to really extend my gratitude and say thank you to President Trump, who told us he has played a very pivotal and paramount role in the ceasefire. And he is really, very, very, he's very, very good to us. And also I want to extend my gratitude to Saudi Arabia, who is a brother country, who have also initiated mediation, and also Turkey, and also Qatar, and also the leadership, and also the advice of the British, and also United Nations Secretary General, and many other our friendly states. I want to extend my gratitude and thank you to you as well, who have also. They have also tried their best for the mediation in the ceasefire, and they have also engaged, and they have played a very pivotal role, and a very, very great brother of mine, Mr. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He is a great brother, and another brother, Mohammed bin Zayed, and my very, very close brother, Amir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim, and my very, very dear brother, Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan. On this occasion, they have helped us a lot in the mediation, and they encouraged us, and like brothers, they have always been a big support for Pakistan, and I really want to extend my gratitude. I want to really extend my gratitude and say thank you to President in the mediation, and they encouraged us, and like brothers, they have always been a big support for Pakistan, and I really want to extend my gratitude, and from the bottom of my heart, I want to say a big thanks to them. And my this speech today, I want to say a big thanks to them. My most respected China's President Xi Jinping, and also the nation of
I love her. She's my goat. She's throwing letters in there that do not exist in any of those names, you know? And quite frankly, I love it. More translators should do that.
China and the public of China, who have always 78 years of history of Pakistan. They have always been there.
Bro, she said Arbogdong. Like, that's not even, like, what? That's a whole different name. That's not even Turkish at that point.
In the times when Pakistan needed them. And they have never of Pakistan's support and integrity. I really hope and I wish that this historical relationship and all these facts we will remember. My very dear and respected elders, brothers and sisters, by God's grace, I have full confidence and I believe that in this terrible time, me and you, we have been successful. And the whole of our nation and all our provincial governments as well, and all the departments and all the leaders of the departments, like before, we will all be working together and we will all be putting all our efforts, we will all be putting our attention into Pakistan's development and Pakistan's well-being, and we are going to dedicate ourselves. And we are not going to sit until Pakistan, we will not be sitting in peace until Pakistan will not, until Pakistan gets its lost integrity back. And by God.
To the chatter who said, "You're getting roasted by Asmongold again, mate." I think more people should be embarrassed to say stuff like that. I just had a sit-down interview with the most popular left politician in France for an hour. And this motherfucker's in here talking to me about a dude who has cockroaches crawling out of his ear hole. Oh my God. I got roasted by the fucking premier political commentator. Like, you should probably be embarrassed, you know? To get your nose from a dude who has a dead rat alarm clock. Guy who recently fell out of his room. Guy who recently fell out of his attic. Doesn't like my political perspective. Oh no, what will I do, man?
God grace, and that time is not far away when this will happen. And we will all together, we will work hard day and night. And we will work hard to the extent that the whole world should be shocked when they see us. And they are going to say that how Pakistan and how the effort and the strength of Pakistan will make the whole world wonder that how courageous we are. Pakistan, long live Pakistan.
Well, let's bring in now Ajay Shukla, a writer at the Business Standard and a retired Indian Army colonel. Good to have you on the programme and to get your thoughts. Can we start with these explosions that have been heard? What are you hearing about that? Are you concerned that the ceasefire has broken down already?
No, I'm not concerned. I think that as the Pakistani Foreign Secretary just told you, it's a very loose arrangement, the border over there. There's firing going on most of the year round. And now that you have a ceasefire negotiated with the help of the Americans, the firing is not going to die down all in one, sort of sharp movement. It'll drag on for a few days, it'll reduce. And if this ceasefire is to last, and I'm not saying that it will, But if it is to last, it will the ceasefire will be implemented slowly by slowly. And you will find a slow return to normalcy and then business as usual. So that's the situation as of now.
Okay, that's positive at least. When it comes to the ceasefire itself, why do you think both sides have agreed now? What do you think changed?
Both sides have their, very strong domestic political imperatives that force the leaders to take a harder line, take a sort of strong line of action, especially when the other side the Indian side doesn't differentiate too tightly between the Pakistani army and the Pakistani terrorists who the army guides and trains and pushes into Kashmir. So with these two elements.
Dude, this guy's giving me OSINT reporting on why a nuclear nation that didn't even use the OSINT reporting to justify fucking blowing up another nuclear nation. Thanks, man. He's like, I analyzed the bike tracks. India says they intercepted communication. Okay, listen, Hasan, just listen. And second point, you as an American have no idea what India's gone through because of jihadi Pakistan. You are just cloud chasing. First of all, why the fuck wouldn't I just immediately go, India lying too, sir? You're fucking killing it, India. Keep blowing up those jihadi scumbags. If I wanted to cloud chase, like, why wouldn't I just say that? So I can be an adored figure on Indian Twitter. This isn't even a defense of Pakistan either. It's just a criticism of India's actions. But anything short of like full-throated support for India is seen as like a direct line of attack.
Coming in under the line of fire from the Indian side. There were air raids that were launched by the Indian Air Force. With them coming under fire, there becomes evident and imperative to negotiate a ceasefire, to bring some of the pressure down. And that's what we're seeing right now.
Well, of course, they deny that they're pushing the militant agenda, but they also have said that the 22nd of April attack was a false flag operation. What do you make of that?
Quite apart from the complete lack of ethics that such a accusation suggests, there is no reason at all for the Indian military or the even non-state actors to be guided by the Indian military to kill 26 tourists, all of whom the Indian side wants there because it suggests a return to normalcy. But why would they want to debunk that whole normalcy narrative? So the idea is outrageous that the Indian side has staged a false flag operation, and certainly India was having none of it. This was the worst terrorist outrage in several years. And you can't expect a strong security-oriented army to accept this kind of outrage without hitting back, and that's what you had.
Pakistan is saying that they've offered an independent investigation into exactly what happened on the 22nd of April by a third party, if necessary, a neutral.
Yeah, I'm casting GP3, baby. I'll be back in France.
Organisation, but India don't want that. They've refused that.
There is really no need for India to accept a third-party negotiation. Pakistan has, since 1947, been trying to internationalize the Kashmir dispute, to bring in monitors and soldiers of one kind or the other, so that the whole dispute is cast into a an internationalist murk. But India is not going to agree to that. Quite apart from anything else, it runs counter to many decades of firmly entrenched policy. Pakistan has simply got no right to demand.
What about?
Never mind. My bad, bro. That's what the good guys say famously. That's a crazy thing to say. This is what I mean, chatters. Like, I'm sorry. This is like, I'm not in the business of shitting on India. I know everyone's gonna, I know that the internet is an incredibly hostile space for Indians in general. I have long talked about the unimaginable amount of hate that Indians face online. Okay? I've spoken out against it over and over again. But I'm sorry, when you got actual government officials, but this guy's a former general, but or a former Indian Army colonel, but you have actual current Indian government officials channeling this kind of fucking statement. It blows my mind. Not exactly giving me confidence as being good guys on this conflict. For those of you who are wondering, what am I eating? I'm eating a French onion soup, or as it unironically is called on this menu, onion soup.
People of Kashmir to decide for themselves then. What about this idea of a referendum?
Well, the idea of a referendum, as you discussed with, I think, the Pak Foreign Secretary, is that the UN already has a proposal for a referendum. The Kashmir dispute is supposed to be resolved on the basis of this referendum, but the preconditions for the referendum.
Why are you calling India as genocide country? This is the funniest thing, dude. It's like fourth-hand account information from dudes who have no idea what the fuck I even said. India is... When have I said India is genocide country? What is going on? Where the fuck are you guys coming from, bro? Unless you're talking about Sri Lanka. Okay, that was a stupid question. I know where people are coming from that are saying that. I meant like where are you getting this information from? Bro, you are out of your fucking mind, dude. Jesus Christ. Calm down, dude. Calling India dirty and shit. Chill out.
Something that Pakistan has resolutely debunked.
The UN High Commissioner told me that they would be prepared to withdraw their military before a referendum took place. Do you not believe them?
The Pakistan army?
Yeah, but the Pakistan military said that they would be prepared to withdraw if there was going to be a referendum in Kashmir.
They have never given any indication of...
In your video, you were talking about how white supremacist countries don't treat India seriously, a country with over 1 billion people that is a growing fascist movement, and that movement intensifies and unifies when attacked. Yeah, I did say that, and I fucking cooked on it. I was right to say that. And I fucking cooked when I said that. And it's genuinely terrifying. And I wish more people were paying attention.
on the ground of being willing to withdraw. India has pointed this out several times in the past. In fact, whenever this issue comes up for discussion, but Pakistan, while paying lip service to the concept of a referendum, does nothing at all on ground to make it so.
OK, well, let's keep our fingers crossed that this ceasefire does indeed hold and talks can take place. Ajay Shukla, Business Standard writer, retired colonel from the Indian Army. Thank you very much.
That was crazy.
Thank you very much.
Big boy said, no need
It
for
is now a
investigation."
well-traveled road, but today...
Like, he did I guess this is the Indian version of, like, when Israel says, UN is Hamas. We can't have third-party investigations, like... That's wild. Also, one of my other favorite things has been in this conflict, motherfuckers coming in here and being like, dude, read Fayed Souza on Instagram or listen to Shashi Tahrir's interview on Al Arabiya. Like, dude, stop. Why are so many where are you coming from? Where are you all coming from? What the fuck is going on? Motherfucker said, watch El Arabiya, bro. Get out of here. Pakistan is not the same as Palestine. If you support Pakistan, you support terrorism, except the civilians. The Pakistani military supports terrorism. Their government supports terrorism. And-housed LET and MVP and OBL. MVP, OBL. I said MVP. Lamau, look at the Pakistani government has responded to the allegations. It's pathetic, says Sassy Indian. Keep up that sass, baby. I'm with you. Oh, fuck. It's hot in here. Okay, let's keep it going. Also here,
The leaders of not just Britain and France, but Poland and Germany were here together in Kyiv. All four coming here by train on an unprecedented mission to show solidarity with Ukraine and put united pressure on Vladimir Putin to accept a 30-day ceasefire, which, as Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was at pains to point out, is something everyone else is now calling for.
Ukraine is ready to move toward peace quickly and constructively. We accept the American proposal for a full and unconditional ceasefire. In fact, we ourselves are proposing it. Russia, as of now, is rejecting even that, even a ceasefire. And if they...
It's hella annoying that this dude has been used and abused. Up and down, over and over again. And now he's like, all right, I said yes to this shitty ass deal to begin with. Can you fucking get Russia to be on board? And Russia's still whipping him around. It's so fucked up.
refuse something as basic as that, it means they don't want to end the war at all.
The meeting was partly a riposte to this, Vladimir Putin's gathering of more than 20 leaders in Moscow this week for Russian World War II events. In Kyiv, the 5 leaders were joined by others on video link or phone, including, crucially, US President Donald Trump. Britain's Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said this was the moment of truth for Russia's leader.
And so all of us here, together with the US, are calling Putin out. If he's serious about peace, then he has a chance to show it now by extending the V-Day pause into a full, unconditional 30-day ceasefire.
Just 4 days into his new job, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz was hinting at more robust German support.
One of the craziest parts about Victory Day is that so many fucking Ukrainians died for that shit. Like, yeah, Russians did too, for sure. But like the USSR was all of these countries. And there were a fuck ton of Ukrainians that died in the front lines. And these motherfuckers can't even celebrate their own, you know, their own ancestors' victory. What is this? Can't believe I used to like you as I thought you were better than XQC and Asmongold. Pakistan also already violated ceasefire. Or you want to speak about that because it goes against your agenda? Dude, I'm sorry, but you're fucking mentally deficient if you're getting your political nose from XQC and Asmongold and then saying, well, I thought you were a little bit better than XQC and Asmongold, but it turns out like you have your own agenda. It's like, yeah, I do have an agenda. It's called fucking giving you a decent political education. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Holy fuck. What is going on? What the actual fuck is going on? Why are people so ready to admit to be like, yeah, I was getting my fucking education from XQC and Asmongold, and then I realized like maybe you know a little bit more than they do. Holy shit. This is the South Asians October 7 breakup moment. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. Okay. Anyway, look, I'm not fucking on Pakistan's side either. I don't know why people are constantly saying this. I'm only critical of India's lack of restraint in this process. That's it. It is rather alarming.
Support for Kyiv, something that may cause concern in the Kremlin.
Es muss klar sein, wenn Russland sich diesem
It needs to be clear. If Russia denies this ceasefire, that would be the basis of negotiations that could start immediately. We will continue to defend Ukraine and we will continue to ratchet up pressure on Russia.
In Moscow, Russian officials were quick to dismiss the Allies' initiative. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said there was no point in trying to scare Russia with sanctions. But this meeting has put more pressure on Putin than ever before to suspend hostilities.
After all the claims of Western unity being made here and the vague threats of more sanctions, all eyes are on the most important member of the Western alliance, who of course isn't here. President Trump says he now supports the idea of a 30-day ceasefire, but he's put no pressure on Vladimir Putin to comply. Is that about to change?
Whether or not a ceasefire is agreed, this is as much about persuading Donald Trump he must finally act to force Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table and work towards ending this war. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News in Kyiv.
As we continue, 9 minutes after the hour now, Newark, New Jersey Mayor Ross Baraka is speaking out after his arrest late Friday for allegedly attempting to break into...
Dude, come on, Fox News. That's crazy.
...an ICE facility during a protest with several Democratic members of Congress. We want to take you back to Newark. That's where we find correspondent CB Cotton with the very latest. Hi, CB.
What is happening with this video, bro?
Hi, Kevin. Well, this small group of protesters behind me says what happened yesterday at this ICE detention facility was fascism on full display.
What is happening? It's already fucking... Yeah, I'm hosting GP. Okay, even if you said if India had evidence they can't do this, that's what we did after 26/11, but how long can we do this? How will it ever stop? India just keeps taking diplomatic actions. It will happen again. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know what's going on with this video. I hope it's just this video that's like fucked up.
We continue 9 minutes after the hour now. Newark, New Jersey.
Straight to Borders Czar Tom Homan. Tom, thank you so much for being here.
Nope, everything is busted. What is happening? Like, I feel like my laptop is bricked. My laptop is bricked.
You know, just watching that body cam video, absolutely incredible to see that went down. And before we get to it, I'd like you to also hear what the Newark mayor had to say also in his defense.
We ask them to obey our laws.
What is happening? Viewers down at 25K, you're falling off. One day your favorite content creator will maybe fall on to this point in his career, hopefully. I think my laptop is overheating. That's what the problem is. Motherfuckers that watch content creators that can't even crack 10K on their best day will come in here to be like, dude, you've fallen off. Yeah, I know my Chrome is busted, chat. I know. The error message is not going away. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. I'm restarting my Chrome with the hopes that it'll work, I think. Dude, India's coming after me, dude. I fucked it up.
Oh, straight to Borders Czar Tom home. And Tom, thank you so much for being here. You know, just watching that body cam video,
it worked.
Absolutely incredible to see that went down. And before we get to it, I'd like you to also hear what the Newark mayor had to say also in his defense.
We ask them to obey our laws, to obey the policies and rules here in the city and the state of New Jersey, not to run roughshod over the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, the 4th, the 5th, the 14th Amendment, that everybody on this soil deserves due process.
Tom, he's saying they're the good guys here.
Well, look, he's not very smart. I mean, bottom line is, that's what the facility's all about. This facility's about due process. This facility is where we put illegal aliens, people in the country illegal.
Oh my God, this fucking idiot. Damn, bro. I'm fucking falling off, dude. Hey, Squeezy just announced the GP Explorer 3 that you would be casting with Pokemon. He's excited, honestly. He also said there was supposed to be a second English-speaking team, but one of them had to drop out a few days ago. By any chances, do you know who was supposed to be on that team? Why would I reveal my fucking boy's secret information like that? Why would I do that? Yeah, let me leak his shit, dude. Let me leak his shit real quick. I will tell you guys one secret, though. And it's like, it's not really a secret, but he probably didn't even mention it. I'm casting the event. I'm one of the international casters. I'm very excited. I'm very honored for this opportunity. I was, however, supposed to be a racer in the event, but the reason why I could not participate in it as a racist was because, and I'm not even joking about this, literally my fucking ginormous frame. It's not even a joke. Height-wise, I was actually at the edge, but my shoulder-to-shoulder width was so large that I was not allowed to fucking compete. It's not even a joke. I'm fucking brawling. No. I'm not even kidding. I was really sad. Oh. Whew. Especially after France, I feel like I'm so fat. I've eaten so much out here. Oh, my MAGA body, dude. Oh, my freaking MAGA body. Ugh. Anyway, but yeah, that's why I can't participate as a racer. Also known as le raciste. I keep telling all my French friends that I do Islamagauchisme. They think it's really funny. That's my favorite French term, le wokisme, and also Islamagauchisme. Anyway, let's continue with this animal.
First of all, they're in the country like they're being detained. And they were screaming and yelling about due process and 14 and all this in the Constitution. This is where due process happens. We have to detain them to go through the due process. Sometimes seeing a judge, sometimes they already have final orders. It's ranging removal to their countries, to getting travel documents to their countries, and making sure all the administrative processes are followed. So this is exactly what the facility means. And I'll tell you this. I can guarantee you this facility has higher detention standards than any New Jersey facility. This facility has highest detention standards in the industry. You compare that to any jail in New Jersey, and you'd be shocked how high these detention standards are.
You know, you have members of Congress there as well, and they're arguing that this was a matter of oversight. I want you to listen to what Congressman Robert Menendez Jr. said yesterday.
We were there to conduct oversight. It's a newly opened facility. They want to spin people. This is exactly what they've done their entire administration. They talk about criminals. They're separating families.
Conducting oversight in this manner. Tom.
No, it's not the proper way to do it. There's a proper way to conduct oversight. There's a way to make appointments, go in this facility. You don't break into the facility when a bus full of criminals are being, brought into that facility. This is about the safety and security of the employees. This is about the safety and security of the illegal aliens. And it's about the safety and security of the public. You just don't make an entry like that. You don't make an unauthorized entry while they're moving a bunch of criminals in the facility. There's a right way and wrong way to do it. And look, I've said from day one, you cannot support ICE. You can go ahead and support sanctuary cities, but you can't cross that line. You can't cross the line of impediment. You can't cross the line of knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien. You certainly can't trespass in a facility that's contracted by the U.S. government to house criminals. That'd be like breaking into, a state prison, not going through the proper protocols. This creates a huge safety crisis, and these elected politicians know that. This isn't about due process. This isn't about constitutional rights. This is about politics. They simply don't want these people removed from this country. They don't want immigration enforcement in this country. And that's what it's all about. They can try to hide it all they want with these protests around the facility, but we can continue to do what we're doing. That facility's got some of the worst of the worst. We're keeping President Trump's promise to the American people that elected him for the sole reason of securing the border and removing these public safety threats from the communities. That's exactly what they're going to do. They can stand out and scream all they want. They can trespass, they'll be arrested. If they impede, they'll be arrested. If they knowingly harbor and conceal, they'll be arrested. We're going to do this job for the American people.
Well, they got the news cameras out there, which I'm sure was part of the goal. Meanwhile, the administration is facing more legal roadblocks over plans to expel illegal immigrants from the country. A U.S. judge ruled this week that deportation flights to Libya would violate a court order a day after reports surfaced that the administration was preparing to do just that. How are you handling these rulings?
Well, it's ridiculous. You got district court judges, district court judges, putting in nationwide injunctions against us.
Hey, man. Remember when you said you care about the law and how nobody's above the law? Only to then follow that up by saying, the law can't come after me. I am above the law. Like, what do you mean? he started off by being like, oh, nobody's against the law. Nobody's above the law. You cannot break into a prison. No, you cannot break into a prison. It's illegal. It's a prison. I'm in a prison of my own mind. And then very quickly, he just turns around and is like, I am above the law. What is a court? I don't understand. I can't read or write. I just, like, how, like, aesthetically, these are some of the worst presenting fascists out there. Like, they don't do a good job of selling these points. All right, who the fuck looks at this dude and goes, well, he instilled confidence in me. I feel like he knows what's up.
Your job. I mean, again, it isn't about the rule of law. Is you got these, these outrageous judges trying to stop us from doing what the American people want us to do. We're simply enforcing the laws on the books. We're enforcing laws acted by Congress. Unlike the last administration, who not only ignored the law, they actively violated the law when they allowed millions of people and abuse of the parole program come to the United States. We are enforcing laws that Congress enacted, including the Alien Enemies Act. That was a law enacted by Congress. They wrote that law. The president signed that law. We're using the laws on the books to remove the worst of the worst as fast as we can. And we got these outlandish judges throughout the country that are simply trying to stop us, putting roadblocks up.
He said Truntry. He said we got these outrageous judges throughout the Truntry. He actually has CTE. Like, that's not even a joke. Why are there so many John Fettermans in the fucking country, man? Why are there? We are a nation led by John Fettermans, bro. The ogre archetype is so strong. Oh my God. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's like, do you want to be an active leader in this country? Do you want to be a politician? Do you want to be in charge of the administrative state? Get into a car crash that causes a debilitating mental complication. A debilitating brain injury is an absolute necessity if you want to win elections, if you want to be in charge. Also, do rapes. That's another thing. Like, be a drunk rapist who then gets into a car crash, and they'll make you the president, basically. There is always room for more concussions.
When it gets to a higher court, we'll win this because we're simply enforcing the laws on the books. They're just trying to slow us down, but we're going to keep moving forward.
You know, I only have a few seconds left, but finally, ABC reported this week that the DOJ is investigating the 2022 traffic stop of Kilmar Obrego Garcia. Apparently, he's accused of acting as a taxi service for a convicted felon
Crash car like Fetterman. Wife wish for a better man. I hate that. Please don't joke about that. Add something serious, please. Add something serious. There's a literal fucking Harkonnen on camera who can't even say words correctly, and he's constantly contradicting himself. How can I be serious about the situation in front of me? If I were to be serious about the situation in front of me, I would probably kill myself in a video game, okay? What is there to do? Like, look at the situation that's unfolded in the United States of America. I'm Brian fucking kill me, dude. What do you want? I have to do something. I have to just, like, make fun of this guy because that's the only thing I have, okay? Like, look at him. He is literally a fucking ogre, dude. This is unironically an ogre. He can't even speak. He's like, I need more Mexican to eat. Give me more Guatemalan for breakfast. I follow the rule of law. Like, that's what he said. He said, first, everybody follow the rule of law. Not me, though. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Look at the situation. What am I supposed to say here? Oh, wow. I can't believe it. What a beacon of fucking mental sanity here. Okay, this guy. I mean, he is such a competent and clearly well-spoken individual that is just simply talking about what the administration was elected to do. You know? Fetterman wants to run for president? Hell yeah.
Being illegal migrants across the United States. Are you familiar with that report, and what are the next steps for the administration in this case?
Well, look, it's being totally investigated by HSI and FBI, but when you talk about trafficking, who is he trafficking, right? We need to see, is he trafficking just illegal labor? Or is he trafficking people that are being forced labor? Is he trafficking women and children who are being sex slavery? I mean, is he trafficking on known suspected terrorists? We don't know. That's why we're going to investigate this. We know he's involved. We got to find out exactly what organization he was involved with. We know he's associated with the TDA, but when it comes to trafficking, they can traffic anybody from some illegal alien looking for a better life to an unknown terrorist that's come to this country to do us harm. That's why this needs to be investigated right to the fullest extent.
Tom Homan, we appreciate so much you being with us on this Saturday morning. Thank you. Good to see you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
The mayor of Newark, New Jersey, was arrested outside a newly opened immigration detention facility in his city today. Mayor Ras Baraka had been protesting the opening of that facility, given the Trump administration is planning to use it as part of the president's plan to sharply increase the number of detention beds. That's when this happened. The man you see there being arrested, wearing the brown coat and the hat, that is Mayor Ras Baraka. Witnesses say that the mayor was arrested after he tried to join a tour of the facility with 3 Democratic members of New Jersey's congressional delegation today. There was yelling and pushing after federal officials were blocking his entry. The mayor, who is running for governor, was arrested after he had returned to the public side of the gates. In a statement that came after that arrest, the Department of Homeland Security said that the lawmakers had not asked for a tour of the facility and that as a bus carrying detainees was entering, quote, a group of protesters, including 2 House members, stormed the gate and broke into the detention facility. And Mayor Ras Baraka was just released from custody and is my source tonight. And Mayor, thank you for joining me. Can you just describe what has been happening over the last few hours while you were being held?
Well, I mean, I just want to first...
that's it, bro. The regime, the right-wing regime has arrested an opposition figure at a freedom rally outside of the Gestapo Center. Fuck you think is happening, you know? We see it.
Say that the guys from Homeland Security were very respectful. They treated me with dignity, and I appreciate that. While I spent my last few hours in holding area inside of I believe it's a detention facility that they have here in the city of Newark, that the Homeland Security has. So, it wasn't unbearable, but it was definitely, a humiliating experience and uncomfortable for me overall. But in the end, those guys did the best that they could to make me feel comfortable, and I appreciate that.
And you were there protesting the opening of this facility. I know this has been something that you have been arguing against. Can you just take us back to what happened earlier today when you showed up? You were there on the ground with other members of Congress who are joining you. And I mean, we've seen this dramatic scene play out. Tell me what happened from your perspective.
Well, I'm going to say as much as I can without violating, what they asked me to do in court. But, I actually didn't come there to protest. I was there that morning with the fire inspector trying to serve them, as we've been doing for the last few days. We're in court with them now. The fire inspector usually puts a tag on a gate, and we leave. This happens every day. At 1 o'clock, the Congress people, Menendez, MacGyver, and Bonnie Watson Coleman, Congress people from the state of New Jersey, was going into the facility, and they said that they had.
Listen, every Democratic politician has to immediately go back and be like, that's right, the Gestapo that actually unjustly arrested me and prosecuted me when I was attempting to engage in an act of civil disobedience against like insane human rights violations that they're committing. They were super nice to me. They were so sick. The Gestapo, listen, a lot has been said about the Gestapo. I myself, I was there to say things to their face. But the one thing I'll tell you now, Caitlin Collins, is that they're very kind. They're very kind individuals. When they were apprehending me, arresting me, putting me behind bars, they did so with kindness. They did so with humility. And they did so with great respect to professionalism. I must say, when they submitted their boot, I was licking it whole. I was basically shoving it down my throat. It was pretty sick.
Been granted entry into the facility and was having a press conference. Afterwards, I came to attend the press conference as I was asked to. Obviously, ICE after a while made a determination after somebody came and said that we shouldn't be there and began to.
And he was right. I should not have been there. I really should not have been there at all.
Told us to leave. We left, and they began to try to arrest me. I shouldn't say us. They targeted me and came after me specifically and arrested me.
Alina Habba, who, just for people who may not be familiar, she's President Trump's former attorney. She is now the interim U.S. attorney in New Jersey, in your state. The way she puts what happened today is
I still respect him, though, for getting arrested. I still respect him for being there. I respect him for getting arrested. This is part of the process.
He is accusing you of ignoring multiple warrants.
This is part of the process of putting your body on the front line like this. But he did lose a lot of aura for being like, they were consummate professionals in my unjustifiable detention. He wasn't there to protest. He said it himself. I just don't understand. You did a boss move. Just fucking play along. Why do you have to turn around and be like, actually, I was there to simply tell the cops how much I love them. I was there to tell the ICE agents, keep going. You're doing a great job. I was there to give them an attaboy, and turns out they misunderstood me and arrested me. But they did so in a way where I was turned on and I liked it. So that's cool. I think they were great. They should do this more. We should arrest more Democratic politicians that happen to be in the vicinity of detention facilities, or better yet, in the vicinity of a ICE agent. If an ICE agent is on his way to get a donut from the Dunkin' Donuts down the street and I'm walking by, he can arrest me. And I think that's fine.
Homeland Security investigations to remove yourself, and says that you chose to, quote, disregard the law. Is that true? Had there been warnings? What had happened?
Well, absolutely not. We could. The reality is, Alina Habba wasn't there. The U.S. attorney wasn't there. She doesn't know what happened. Clearly, that is not the context of what happened. I was there for over an hour in that space, and nobody ever told me to move. I was in there for over an hour. Not a single person, not an officer from ICE, not any of the security guards. Nobody told me to leave that place. Somebody from Homeland Security came in the end and began to escalate the situation, and we wound up being where we are today. And that's, frankly, the extent of it. I didn't go there to break any laws. I didn't break any laws. I was there as the mayor of the city, exercising my right and duty as an elected official, supporting our Congress people, preparing for a press conference that was supposed to happen.
The thing that really frustrates me, and this is the same for Mélenchon as well, right? People in France think that Mélenchon is too radical. He's too radical to get elected. And what I find really strange about that is that time and time again, we try half measures. Okay? Time and time again, we try half measures. We constantly try half measures. Is all we do. And in the process of trying half measures, the Democrats lose. Try being a fucking radical for once. Make the one option against the radical Republican Party be the radical Democrats. For once. You know? What do you have to lose, man? Ross Baraka is the leftmost candidate for governor. I don't know why he's taking this stance. I think he's taking this stance because he wants to appeal to the moderates or something.
I did not enter that place unlawfully. I did not break any laws. And so all of that is incorrect.
Like, this is already an incredibly unpopular thing that the administration is doing, and it's only going to get more unpopular. You want to come in on the ground floor and look like a leader in this movement. You want to be vindicated, okay? This is what Democratic politicians don't understand. This is only slated to become less popular. From this point on, it's not. It already reached its peak. It's not going to become magically overnight more popular again, where Americans go, actually, we love the Gestapo. No, the more shit like this happens, the more resentment is going to calcify. So if you want to be on the ground floor, I'm talking like I'm a consultant, okay? I'll put my Democratic Party consultant hat on, okay? Ross Baraka, sir, you hired me to do consulting for you, so I'm telling you right now, okay? I know, even if you don't give a shit about the immigrants or whatever, even if you don't give a shit about anything, you have a gubernatorial race coming up. I promise you, you want to be a leader in this movement because New Jersey is unironically a surprisingly progressive state, okay? And the more Jersey senators attack to the center, the more they've actually lost space to the Republicans. We should try something different, okay? Americans are not very happy about the immigration structure that exists, and there's a lot of resentment that's bubbling up. You should be one of the movement leaders here in New Jersey. You should lead the way. You should show New Jerseyans that, you know, there is no ICE in this country. There's no space for ICE in our beautiful state. And there's no ICE in our beautiful nation state. So as someone who just got arrested, you should lead on that and not say like, oh, ICE was so wonderful to me and they're so amazing. You should not say any of those things. You should be like, yeah, look at what they're doing. America is becoming a tin pot dictatorship. This is not the America that I know. This is not the America that I love. Okay? That's what you should be saying. You should be positioning yourself against ICE. You should be positioning yourself against Trump. The people demand a fighter. You should be that fighter. You got literally fucking detained. See it like a gift. Treat it like a goddamn gift instead of a fucking nuisance because you couldn't kiss ICE's ass enough.
Some better information.
How did it get so heated? I mean, you can watch this playing out, and we see you, and everyone starts shoving, people start yelling. What did the Homeland Security official that you said came up?
Look at this fucking dipshit, dude. You're getting arrested by some white supremacists as a black mayor of Newark. Like, that's your town. Fuck you mean? ICE leaders seem drunk on the idea that the president can give them unrestrained power, but they work for the people of a pluralistic country, not for one man. The legitimacy of this agency will need to continue to exist in a democratic society, depending on them remembering that. This agency cannot continue to exist under a Democrat president in the interest of a democratic society. The people who said that and warned of precisely this scenario 8 years ago were 100% correct, and anyone who criticized them as unserious was wrong. Yeah. And the Democrats are so cucked that, like, ICE has more powers than cops do. ICE has more power than cops do. They can technically do unconstitutional search and seizure in constitution-free zones. They can do whatever the fuck they want. And it seems like they are interested in also detaining judges. It seems like they're also interested in detaining Democratic Party officials. And the Democrats are still turning around and saying, well, it's okay. It's all right. They shoved a boot in my ass, but it didn't feel too bad. As a matter of fact, I enjoyed it. And it's like, okay, at a certain point, you have to say enough is enough. We've gone far past that point. Like, they are attacking you now. I know you're out of touch with the interests of the population, but they're directly attacking you. If you are going to, like, how can anyone believe that the Democrats are going to defend their interests when they can't even defend their own well-being? As politicians, mind you.
And the first one who tried to arrest you,
well, they tried to arrest me. As you can see, he tried to arrest me. As you can see, I'm calm. I'm not doing anything. I'm just walking. We got out of the gate. They, I guess, made a decision to come around the gate after we left to arrest me outside of the gate. So they did that. They arrested me outside of the gate. Obviously, protesters and the Congress people were upset. They tried to intervene. And so, I thought it would be better for us to just go ahead with these guys and so we not cause further kind of disruption there.
Were you trying to go into the gate?
No, I was already inside. I didn't have to try to go in.
Okay.
I was there for about over an hour.
I wonder what you've been in detention, so you've been being held, so obviously you haven't seen any of the coverage. The response from others, including some people inside the administration, is pointing to the fact that you're a Democrat and you're running for governor in your state and accusing you of basically conducting a publicity stunt. And I wonder what you would say to them tonight.
Well, I think the publicity stunt is this idea that we should violate the court orders, violate the Constitution of the United States, that we should run roughshod over state and local laws. The reality in America is that if we're having a dispute, then we settle it in the court. The city of Newark has a dispute with GEO about a certificate of occupancy, about them allowing our inspectors in the buildings, health inspectors and fire inspectors, who they've been rejecting every day. Every day we go there, we put the thing on the door and we leave. We're in court right now. They dispute that. They dispute that they should have an updated certificate of occupancy. They haven't had one in 20 years. We say that they need one because the local law demands that they have to get a change of use. They dispute that, and that's their right to dispute it. But the person that settles that is a judge in a court of law, not the President of the United States, not the U.S. Attorney, not ICE or Homeland Security. That is solved by a judge here in this state, and they even moved it to federal court, so the judge has to weigh in on this, and a magistrate. They can't just take matters into their own hands and do what they want. Extra legal action outside of the courts, and that's exactly what's going on here.
What's your understanding of what happens next year? Were there conditions to your release? What was discussed before you left today?
Well, I mean, I obviously was charged with federal trespassing and, which is a Class C misdemeanor, but, going through this is just really humiliating and painful. But the reality is this is what democracy is, right? And so, we are in dispute here, and we just living in a time period now where if you are opposed to the ideas of people, you could be threatened with arrest or intimidation, and that's exactly what's happening. And that's not the America that we want to be in. That's not the America that people chose to move thousands of miles from around the world to. This is not this place, and they're turning it into an authoritarianist government.
Do you have any regrets about how today happened?
No, I don't have any regrets at all. I went down there to support my Congress people, my Congresswoman from my district, Congresswoman Blondie Watson-Coleman as well, who is like a mother to us here, and Congressman Menendez, who's also from our district. I went down there to support them in a press conference, and I would do it again. I have a right to go to those facilities as the mayor of the city. A fire inspector has a right to be on those facilities, and it is not federal property. It's in fact private property. GEO is privately owned. It's a private prison that these people are getting $63 million to do this work, and they have to abide by local laws. That's just a fact. I don't care what our political differences is. They still have to abide by the law.
Mayor Ross Baraka, I know you've had quite an eventful few hours. Thank you for joining us so quickly after your release tonight.
Okay, so Safe travels home.
Turning now to President Trump's trade war as U.S. and Chinese officials meet in Switzerland this weekend. President Trump suggesting he's open to lowering tariffs on China, but the White House remains cautious, downplaying expectations. ABC's Selena Wang is in Washington with the latest. Selena, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Whit. And these are the first in-person.
Art of the deal, baby. Art of the deal. Add insane tariffs for no reason and then cut them right before you finally actually come to the table. This is the way to do it, folks. This is the way to do it, baby.
Person talks between the U.S. and China since the latest trade war began, and it's this first sign we're getting that there could be an end in sight to this standoff, with both countries feeling the economic pain. This morning, high-stakes trade talks underway between American and Chinese.
Yeah, this was my favorite. I saw this tweet. I'm voting for Donald Trump for the economy and to own the libs. Well, there went my shoe business. I don't understand why the tariffs have to eliminate the de minimis exemption. Why does government punish small businesses in this country, knowing full well that Nike and all the big brands will be fine paying the taxes, but Steffi and I get wiped out? I'm sorry to hear about your business. I hope owning the libs made it worth it. Somehow the second sentence makes me doubt the sincerity of the first. Didn't you know what you were voting for? Yes. And didn't you vote the trans the kids? Like, it's over, man. It's over. What? These guys are so fucking stupid. It's not even a fell for it again award. Like, they don't understand it. Like, that guy probably is still going to vote Republican for the rest of his life. He'd vote for Trump a third term if he could. Maybe he will. I don't know, man. I don't know. No humility. No self-reflection. None necessary, baby. Bro, Mossad has been saying Putin is about to deliver a speech for the last hour and a half. Okay. Mossad_I. Keep us posted, man. Any day now, Putin's going to deliver a speech, dude. Any moment now, dude. I promise.
Officials in Switzerland as President Trump suggests he could lower his 145% tariffs on Chinese goods. Writing on social media, 80% tariff on China seems right. China has previously demanded Trump first remove tariffs before coming to the negotiating table. But the White House says China needs to make concessions first.
The president still remains with his position that he is not going to unilaterally bring down tariffs on China. As for the 80% number, that was a number the president threw out there, and we'll see what happens this weekend.
Overnight, the president was asked if he'll be disappointed if his team comes back without a deal.
No, not at all, because we already made a great deal. We're not doing business with China right now.
China remains defiant, saying this.
It's a great deal. The greatest. It's so sick. Also, 80% is still ridiculous.
This meeting is at the request of the United States. China firmly opposed the indiscriminate imposition of tariffs by the U.S. side. And we're now more than 30 days into President Trump's 90-day pause on his sweeping tariffs. And so far, the president has only announced one trade deal with the United Kingdom. And Whit, it's only a framework that's very light on details.
Something to watch there. And Selena, another headline we're following here. What more are you learning about this news overnight? A federal judge temporarily blocking President Trump's plans to dramatically reduce the size of the federal government.
Yeah, Whit, so this is a significant setback for the Trump administration. This federal judge is putting pause on their plans for these massive layoffs and reductions across 21 federal departments and agencies. That includes the Department of Health and Human Services, Commerce, Energy, Treasury, and State. This judge is arguing that the president doesn't have the authority to make these massive changes because he needs the help of Congress. Gio?
All right, a lot to watch there. All right, Selena, thank you so much.
It is very difficult to process how much has happened since Joe Biden.
All right, I'm tired. That's all I had in me today. Chatters, I apologize for cutting it short today. It's 11. And tomorrow I will be live, but I'll be live later than I normally would be from the great state of Illinois. That's right. I'll be in Chicago. Chicago tomorrow. And on Monday I have a speech at the University of Chicago. That's right. Believe it, folks. Chirac, baby, the Bears. That is, of course, if I don't get apprehended and detained at the border. If I do get apprehended and detained at the border, then I probably won't be live tomorrow. But hope you guys appreciated that interview. I certainly did. I loved it. And yeah, love you all. See you tomorrow. I'll be late, though. I'll be like probably 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Something like that. If I go live from Chicago. Peace.
Uncle Uger's face. Sudden discord at your prop. Great names take embrace. Tiny Bernie Sanders, LGBTQ Air Force. The whole left at your fingertips. Ane at your door. The H3 crowded debate, the Young Turks online show. 3 full fucking years of this, plenty more to go. 90-day fiance talks of champagne bourgeoisie. A Trump rally live reaction, a mass riot at DC. There he is again, Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. There he is again, Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. Reading a live stream, fair comments, Austin show chat advice. And all the ways the right-wing pipeline can suck you in online. JCS react, Lord, frame gets broken, cover blown. A full-blown mass pandemic, monster streaming at your home. Total radicalization coming out to find. The system you were taught to trust in was broken the whole time. All these daily streams, whether big or whether small, have helped me and so many find the meaning through it all. There he is again, Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. There he is again, Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming.